What's up, nerd family? Welcome once again to the Poindexter Lounge. Guess what?
Last night of Crisis, for now.
This year. Oh, it's about that time. That's right. We are bringing you Crisis. If this is your first time in the Poindexter Lounge, if you're not used to one of our live streams, we'll just set you up like this. We don't show the screen because we're not going to get a copyright strike for it. This is an opportunity for us to get together with those of you out there who are watching it. We can live chat at the same time while we're watching it and talk about it, and we want you to be a part of it. So watch it along with us. Let's discuss. We are going to watch the Aftermath with Kevin Smith afterwards.
I remember that we had that, and I was like, "Oh yeah, we got another Aftermath after this episode."
And then of course after that we will debrief, talk about stuff, and go from there. My name is Enosh, aka Enosh Fett, along with the lovely,
Fantastic.
and of course
Isaac Von Kenobi.
And at some point during the night, you know what? We may have some guests pop in and out, like Wookie the dog.
Mm-hmm.
Or
this guy just says, "Bro, I love this family, man," and then says, "I love everyone in that room and out of that room."
aw. You're very, very sweet. I appreciate that. Fingers itchy. Alright, I gotta find the live
Eduardo
stream.
says, "Say goodbye to the Flash."
If we do, it'll be temporary, I believe.
One thing I think we forgot about that we get tonight.
What's that?
The treadmill.
Yes!
That's
Finally get some treadmill action. I'm down with that. What's going on? What's up, Eduardo? What's up, Sky? Hey, Landon. Special guest, Landon B. See, here comes Wookie the dog.
Wookie dog, there he is.
Ooh, you're cold. Is it snowing?
He's like, wait, where's Mom's bowl? I'm allowed to lick the bowl.
Hey, Sky, where are you located? I can't remember where you said you were from.
Hold on.
Dave of Steel. What's up, Dave of Steel? Good to hear from you, man.
Crisis is starting.
Here we go. Starting right now. Episode 3. Yep, there she is, Huntress. Earth 203?
You got them.
Oh, 2003, I
Wookie.
think.
Hunters, come in. Hunters, the comms are barely functional. Barbara, can you hear me? I need more time. The wave's coming too quickly to capture back right now.
Barbara.
Sending out the relevant data before the wave hits. Oracle, please answer me.
Oracle.
Barbara. Oh, they just took her out. That was it?
Apparently. Where's one? What's up, Blue Phoenix?
Hey, Blue Phoenix, welcome.
Hey, it's preparing a paragon detector, okay? It's complex stuff. Someone call for backup. There's Cisco, thank goodness. I need another genius intellect stack. That's why I'm here. And that is a super doppelganger, which is super weird.
Holy all-star squadron. Hi, we're Ralph Dibney, elongated man, ready to help kick butt.
Ignore him. It's his first crossover.
It doesn't matter what is still ripping its way across the multiverse. We have to get everyone we can to safety.
The calculations still show that Earth 1 will be the last place for the wave to hit.
I just heard from Alex and Brady on Earth 1. Everyone we saved from Earth 38 is still counted for.
We should bring as many people to Earth 1 as we can at the time being.
Let's get a rescue team together, save what we can across the multiverse. I can use my psychic abilities to stay in connection with the wave rider.
It all goes well.
Well, parallel Earth Rory still has Jonathan, so I'll run comms and keep everyone updated.
Super.
I'll stay here. We have to find a way to get our world back.
I think we did it. I think we fixed it.
Guys already know all this.
It's buffering, so maybe a little patience.
physics professor at Ivytown University on the Harbor.
Well, I guess we know our next step. Right, Ralph?
Ivytown is my own stomping grounds in this go.
With all the paragons identified, our next priority is determining how to stop the antimatter wave.
Sorry to interrupt. Mr. Diggle has arrived.
I love how you use his voice.
You of all people!
It's complicated.
It's not complicated. I wasn't there when he needed me.
Dick, we are working on bringing him back the same way that he brought me back, remember?
You're talking about trip to purgatory.
Yes.
Fine, count me in.
And there's something else. Dick, it's Lila. She's gone missing.
What?
Nobody saw her leave. She was there 1 minute and gone the next.
She has the ability to teleport. So there are now infinite possibilities for Lila's location. Yeah. Listen to me. I am not losing Oliver. And Lila. So cut the crap and tell me how the hell do I find my wife?
You heard him. Where is she?
Harbinger could very well be with my adversary. The Anti-Monitor.
I'd say that's a good bet.
The anti-monitor, is that set in stone, or can we workshop that a little bit?
This is why I've been preparing all of you. Testing and pushing you to your limits. I needed your courage, your honor, your strength of will, even the truth of your convictions. Everything that makes you the greatest heroes on this earth or any other, because that's what it will take to defeat our opponent.
What exactly does this guy want?
To eliminate the multiverse and replace it with another universe.
One that he can control, just like every other megalomaniac.
I should have foreseen my connection with Harbinger could be perverted to his ends. Should have? Just tell us how to get her back. I want to find her just as much as the rest of you, but I cannot rewrite what has already been written. I can only attempt to save what remains.
We're gonna do killer.
You know what to do to get Oliver still back. I'll watch over his body, and I promise you I will keep you updated on Harbinger.
Because Supergirl's not looking, that the kryptonite being pulled out doesn't bother
Maybe
her.
we should call Camilla back.
No, that wasn't a phone call. I'm triangulating antimatter wave particles on the Earth that are left.
Why?
I'm trying to locate the source of the wave. And according to this, it's hidden in a subterranean region right in our own backyard. Meet me in the cargo bay in 5.
Cisco or Moon,
Didn't I just leave you?
you are not a paragon, but you do have a purpose. Vibe must live again.
No.
Yes.
No, my powers are gone. And there's a reason for that.
You must answer the call whether you wish to or not.
Okay. Maybe you didn't hear me under those voluminous mutton chops of yours.
Now go on. Serve your higher purpose.
Are you still sure you want me to go?
Yeah.
That was quick.
Go find Ryan Joy. Hurry back.
I mind tricked him.
Where are you race off to?
Perimeter search. Make sure this isn't a trap set up by the anti-monitor. That name makes me want to barf.
Nice heavy vibe.
Let's just get to Nash's work site.
Right this way. Oh, that's new.
We gotta get in there. Who's there?
Nash? Is that you?
I am no longer Nash. I am Pariah. And I'm here to bear witness.
To what?
Tragedy.
Okay. Hey, okay, so we got all the paragons. I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little disappointed with the paragons.
Yeah, me too.
So literally 6 of the 7 paragons are all on the shows already. Like I thought the whole point was supposed to be they were supposed to go find the Paragons.
Except for what's his dude?
What?
Except for what's his dude?
Except for what's his dude?
The second Adam dude.
Ryan Choi and.
Oh yeah,
Parker
yeah.
are
Okay,
the
so
two
so 5 of the 7 Paragons were already there. I just
One more week of that.
for Star Wars. I don't know. Is anybody else like a little disappointed with that? I'm glad Vibe's back though.
Yeah, me too.
That's cool that they just brought Vibe back out of nowhere. I mean, but you kind of had to.
Mm-hmm.
The writers couldn't fit it out, so here you go.
Yeah, I like it. The writers don't even like lead up to it. It's just like monitors just like, oh yeah, you're Vibe again.
Yeah.
There you go.
He's like, you need to be vibed for Crisis.
You need to be vibish.
You need to be vibing.
We're good, Irving. How are you,
You're
sir?
vibing. What the monitor did.
Elite Bat says, I don't like the commercials. It takes out the fun of the Crisis.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
William says it's crazy to think back in season 1, Iris didn't even know who the Flash was, and now she is going to visit Smallville and Kingdom Come Superman and all this stuff.
Yeah. And then
Nash is,
now she's gonna go look for Ryan Choi and then
yeah.
whatever else she does in Crisis.
Raymeek Drakir? Or Drossier?
Drakkar Noir.
Drossier says Vibe is in the house. Heck yeah.
Drakkar Noir.
So I was just kind of hoping that the Paragons would be some different characters and stuff.
Because the monitor said throughout space and time.
Boy, they just didn't waste any time in killing off Huntress
Yeah.
at all. Holy cow!
Just when
Hey, haven't
she
seen
saw
her
the wave
forever,
coming in
and
and
she's
then.
gone.
That's like, and there she is. Hey, she said something about Oracle, and she's gone.
Yeah. Looks like she'll be back after that.
About what happens next, so don't.
Yeah. All right, we're back.
New name, new suit. Guess no one's consulting me anymore, huh?
Wait, what exactly happened?
I searched these tunnels. Asked Nash for more info. To kill him. Expose him as a false god, and now I'm being controlled by another god.
And that's the anti-monitor.
He laid a perfect trail for me to follow, but all along, he was manipulating me so that he could gain a foothold in this universe.
Why didn't you resist him?
His will was too strong, and now I'm forced to bear witness as he destroys world after world.
That's why we're gonna stop him. Now can you open that door?
Silver Surfer.
I cannot. My memories as Nash are somehow lost to me as pariah, but you can.
By finding those memories.
Yes.
Give me your hand.
What did you see?
A way in.
You think the book can bring back the destroyed Earths? Oh, too good.
I don't have time for this. Tell us how to use the book or
Jordan, I think he's gonna have the powers back for good now.
Tactics work in Athens.
The book channels ancient and endless power. It takes immense willpower and focus to make it work.
What did you focus on? His hatred for Superman.
Got it in one. But that was easy for the book to provide. You try to use it on the scale that you're talking about, and it could drive you mad. Like dig in.
There's no telling what kind of ripple effect this could have.
I'm supposed to be the paragon of hope, right? Maybe this is my role to bring back my Earth and Argo and all the others. I have to find a way to fix this.
See you soon.
So why don't we take a deep
Earth 666.
Hello, Earth. So many years already gone. The pillars of magic are
That's where
cool.
Constantine is.
Worse for wear, so
Oh, this is where we're gonna get Lucifer.
don't worry, Squire. Luckily, I know a guy.
And there he is. There's your Lucifer.
Always a pleasure to see you, Lucy. It's time.
Nice.
Excuse me, ladies. Seems like you're not the only ones who want a piece of me. I'll see you later.
Nice crossover.
Johnny. I'd like to say it's a pleasure to see you on my earth outside my club. It's not. Hello. Don't believe we've met. Lucifer, Morningstar.
Lucifer Morningstar, as in...
The devil, yes, exactly. So tell me, what is it you desire?
I desire to get my father back.
Oh, daddy issues. Why didn't you say so?
Look, I don't know if you have an Oliver Queen on your world, but ours is shuffled off this mortal coil.
The soul retrieval, blah, 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 the worlds are ending. It's all very biblical, John. Okay, I'm only doing this because I owe you for Maze.
Yeah, you do.
You remind me of my brother, by the way. Tall, dark, annoyed by me.
You gotta help us with that.
Oh, flirt. The devil always sees through on a deal. Take this card. You'll have a limited time once inside purgatory, and once the picture completely fades,
Our souls will be decimated, blah, blah, blah.
I'm trapped in eternity forever, so I don't recommend it. Consider us even, John Constantine.
Constantine.
Is it? I don't care. Always a pleasure doing business with mortals.
Forgot to tell us what to do.
There's Hollywood Demon Dave.
Looks a lot like Lee and you.
Which is Mandarin for purgatory.
Yours a little coincidence, eh?
Any idea why Dad's soul would choose to come here?
Souls choose their prisons. This place must be what Oliver thinks about when being trapped for all eternity. It's a funny thing, too, considering his memories are probably missing.
What are you talking about?
The second that Oliver's soul landed here, his memories would have been, how can I put it, squeegee.
So I'll have to make him remember us.
Bollocks. We'll have to get a move on as well. This card is already beginning to fade. When you work with the devil, you never know quite what you're getting.
Perimeter's clear. There's no sign of any quantum tower on Earth 1. What are you doing here, Brian?
Behind this wall, his domain.
What Mr. Green Jeans is trying to say is once we get inside, we can actually stop the antimatter wave right at the source.
Let's do it.
This place has some crazy.
You can tell this is the Flash because the writing is
This place is the nexus between
the dialogue.
antimatter universe and your own. The whole antimatter canon. This is the source of the wave.
Guys, I think this blur is alive.
Check it out.
Yep.
It's a force field I couldn't get through. It's the Flash from Earth 90. Straight from the tree.
Okay. So, first order of the night. Hey, Hollywood Demon Dave. Are you in the continental United States?
Harley freaking Quinn.
I do believe that is the cosmic treadmill. And there's Darth Tasty on cue. Awesome. Awesome. Just the two guys I was looking for, Darth Tasty and Hollywood Demon Dave. What's up, Alex?
Episode is really good so far.
Yeah.
So
I'm sad that this is the last episode for the year.
So here we go. Darth Tasty. So as everybody knows, last night Braden, chicken nugget, chicken wing.
Yeah.
Yeah, chicken nugget, chicken wing, won the Flash Pixel Pals. So we're gonna get that to him. And then last night's winner, but I gotta confirm because we only can do it within the continental United States. I'm assuming from Hollywood Demon Dave's name that you're in the U.S.
Yes, in California.
But I just need to know, buddy. What's up, young Wolfgang? We would love to show the screen, but we cannot because of copyright reasons. This is a watch party. This is where us and a bunch of our subscribers all get together. We watch shows together. We do watch parties like this, and so
Probably come back after this.
yeah. So well, Darth Tasty, while I'm waiting for Hollywood Demon Dave, you sir. This is what I picked out, but I got a couple of other things, and I had because I had a couple of these things put back specially for Star Wars stuff. But knowing that you're a Star Wars guy, Darth Tasty, you won for this guy right here, this Black Series Luke. So this is yours, Darth Tasty. Now, I got him. If for some reason you'd rather have a, I think I've got a, I got a Flame Trooper. I've got a Kanan. I think that's it. Flame Trooper and a Kanan from Rebels. So there's that. Awesome. What's up, Caleb? I know, right, man? Cosmic Treadmill ties with Flashpoint. Some good stuff right there.
Jeff
You like
says,
the cap?
Yep. Elite Bat says, hold my beer.
That's a CW. Well, maybe.
Oh. Nice.
Thomas?
Go back on.
Oh, we're back on. All right.
Alright.
No, we're not. All right. Hey, Thomas, are you within?
Alice Cooper's just going crazy.
Are you within the continental United States as well, Thomas? We can love both Marvel and DC. That's the beautiful thing. I love DC more, but I love both. Oh, there we're back.
Did you see what Darth Vader done?
From birthday.
Yes, I'm glad you need that loop then.
I understand him away.
Not do to this earth what you did to mine.
Found up in another burst with the anti-monitor. Found him, corralled his speed, used it to build his antimatter cannon. Testified.
What was that from?
Here he's gone.
That happened on the first episode.
Alright, how do we stop the cannon?
The force field it contains this is antimatter based.
All right, Thomas. Next commercial, I got
Anything made of
some more stuff going on.
penetrate it.
We have to get the flash off that treadmill.
Others, my path to live.
Maybe he had a purpose.
Maybe this is it.
Episode's already half over almost.
Thank you for the reprieve. The
Gotta put me back on it. Anti-monitor designed that treadmill with the failsafe so that if I ever got off of it, it would erupt, destroying all remaining Earths at once. We only have a few minutes. Pariah. Pariah.
Amanda, please. I know the red skies are freaky, honey, but I'm sure it's just atmospheric.
Dr. Ryan Choi?
Disturbance. Babe, I gotta go. Wow, is that really you? Dr. Ray Palmer. Oh, and gosh, I'm Ryan Choi. It is so wonderful to meet you. Your second paper on subatomic density manipulation was the foundation for my work on miniaturization.
Wow. Thank you. You know,
Okay, Dr. Choi, we need you to come with us right now.
Look, you've seen the red skies outside? The world is ending.
Dr. Palmer.
So is Palmer gonna die?
we are superheroes, and
Noise
Ryan,
legend is
we
gonna
need your
die.
help.
Sure, Dr. Palmer. Good one. And next you're gonna tell me I've been nominated for the Breakthrough Prize in Fundamental Physics?
Okay, we don't have time for this.
Seeing is believing, right?
Did you? You're elongated man? Are you superheroes too?
I know this sounds cuckoo, pal, but you're what's called a paragon, which is a fancy word for saying we need your help to save the universe. Dr. Choi.
If the world's ending, I need to go home.
Please, Ryan, we really need your help.
No, you don't. I'm no hero. I'm a husband. And if this is the end, I have to be with my wife and kid. I'm sorry.
Some people call me the paragon of love. Woo-hoo.
Another Earth is gone.
There's only 7 left in the multiverse. It's ironic. I'm watching the biggest event in history, the destruction of every Earth, and no one will ever read the story.
These Earths are not the only worlds destroyed. My world died. My family.
What were they like?
You like crazy hairdos?
So full of life. They were everything to me. If only I cared as much for them as I did my work. Zenith. I now understand why you were such a good reporter, Miss Lane.
Park?
Couldn't save them.
You want to take a minute? Looks like you could use a breather.
Put this on Mr. Crest. I made a promise to keep fighting, no matter what.
Hey, why'd you add black to it?
Because, Lois, even in the darkest times, hope cuts through. Hope is the light that lifts us out of darkness. Let's go back.
He's not the paragon of hope. Oh my gosh, I just want him to have his own
No matter
show.
what Earth he's from, huh? I'm just talking to yourself.
Yep.
It's getting worse. Put me back on that trip. No. All right, we'll find another way.
Got him from Norway.
Send me back to Freeland, now!
Down, electric guy.
The name is Black Lightning.
Yeah, just start shooting at people. That's all
I
stuff.
did not bring you here, Jefferson, to
How
fight.
are you taking us
To
today?
save lives.
Who the hell are you people?
I am Pariah. This is Jefferson Pierce. On his Earth, an educator, a father, a hero. We, my Earth, there are multiple Earths, Jefferson. Many Earths like this one. Your Earth
It's gone.
has just been destroyed by way of antimatter. So, Lynn, my girls,
They're gone. I transported you here to help us save humanity.
You should have saved my family! Not me! Not me!
Jefferson? I'm so sorry. Right now, we need your help to stop this antimatter wave. I can't imagine how you're feeling, but I do know how it feels to lose your family. And what I want you to do right now,
Please,
William says, this is for the streets.
die.
Black Lightning back.
I love Chris Williams.
What do you need from me?
that machine behind you is the source of the antimatter wave. We have to disable it, but we can't get near it. Can you contain that much energy?
Let's find out.
I love the news too.
You open that book and you do not know what will happen to you, to all of the Earths you're trying to save.
I have to, Kate. Those people, they need help.
And we are doing our best to help who we can. That is not the answer.
Then what am I supposed to do? Just be okay with all those people dying? Like Bruce? Believe that if life's supposed to end, just let it?
No, of course not. But if you open that book, it will destroy you.
I have to do this.
But I have to stop you.
You won't be able to.
You'd be surprised. I wish things were different. I wish I was hopeful, like you. But one thing I do know is if you take a chance on that book and it doesn't work, and something happens to you, we're all doomed.
And we need more time. Every second that we waste here, another Earth dies.
Huh.
That wave gets closer to my wife.
It's like a Zach Morris timeout.
Tina always said that keeping me running was her purpose in life. So as someone who's been running for 30 years, let me tell you, sometimes, in order to find your purpose as a hero, you gotta take a couple steps back. Reverse the way you see the situation and see a bigger picture.
That's it. I know how to stop the cannon. This is what the monitor meant that day in the time bomb. This is what I've been running towards all these years. It's never flashed a vanishing crisis.
Machine in the comics, and that's how we went.
What's that?
How we went in the comics was he was running around the anti-monitor's machine, which pretty much reversed it, and that's how he disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they followed the comics for that.
Okay. So, Thomas. Thomas says, that needs to be a shirt like #1 nanny. That's funny. Feel like sharing that today I felt like a real superhero. Actually starting to like that one. Yeah, I like her in this episode too, William.
Who?
William says that he's actually starting to like Batwoman. She seems a lot less SJW in this crossover.
Have you guys been watching her show recently? Because she's changed in the last 3 episodes.
Yeah. David Steele says, how can the light that brings us hope can be the light that brings us out of darkness? Thomas says, people out there are wonderful human beings. Thomas says, hope is all we have. Absolutely. Irvin says, I doubt he dies. Alex says, that's crazy. William says, Barry won't die. No, it's okay. Thomas says, yes. Alex says, he might, but come back later. Thomas says, I'm in the U.S. All right, awesome. Glad I can share this awesomeness with you guys. Me too, Dave. I am super glad that you are. All right. That being said, here we go. Thomas. Hey, buddy. This Flash Primal Age action figure right there. If you want it, that one's yours.
Beefy Flash.
Beefy Flash. I kind of like it. It's like He-Man style. I got one for myself, and it's pretty cool. So there you go. So if you want it, yes, yeah. All right. So there you go. And so finally, if oh, we're back.
Reversing the treadmill's directional velocity could make the antimatter wave recede and funnel back into the spinning cube.
Destroying the machine and the wave.
Awesome, Thomas. I'm glad, buddy. David Steele, don't go anywhere.
Where's the future?
Next commercial.
Whose life is this? Mine. What are you going to do with it? Protect it. Or anything necessary?
It'll be okay. We're gonna find him.
You don't know that. Dad's soul could be lost forever.
Family's everything, Oliver. He'll come back to us. Listen to me. I see you, man. And I'm so sorry that I wasn't there to have your back during crisis, but I'm here now. And I need you to come back to us. You my brother. Can't lose you, man.
Dave, are you in the continental United States?
Can't lose you.
Hey, John.
Aw.
They're beautiful. I didn't get to introduce myself earlier. Dr. Troy, I'm Iris West Island from Central City.
Are you a superhero too?
No, I'm just like you. Look, I know this is a lot to ask, and you're right to want to be with your family when things go bad.
What about you? You clearly have someone in your life you care about. Don't you want to die holding them when the world ends?
My husband's not like us. He goes out there as a superhero day after day and faces whatever he has to keep his city safe.
That's really brave, Iris. But that's not me.
It's
See,
not me.
I'm nothing like your husband.
No, you're not. You're human. And we have a purpose too. We remind superheroes what they're fighting for.
My wife, Amanda, and I just had a baby 6 months ago. Simone. I might not get to see her grow up.
All right, Dave, next commercial, buddy.
Knowing that you had a hand in making the world safer.
I need to go tell my wife I'm gonna be late for dinner.
Just got word from Lois. 6 more Earths are gone. This is the only Earth left.
At least now we have Ryan. Now you know what to say to him.
Iris.
Hey, what is it?
What if this is it? What if stopping the wave is my purpose as a paragon? I mean, what if it's the sacrifice I have to make?
Well, if this is it, then I don't want you to die without me, Barry. I don't want you to give them come with you.
No, you can't come, Iris. I may be the one with superpowers, but your intelligence, your resourcefulness, your heart, that's your superpower, and that's what's going to help you convince Ryan Choi to be the hero he wants to be.
Loki! I don't want to live this life without you. I want to say goodbye.
When I put this ring on your finger, I promised that I'd always come running home to you. And if we're apart, for however long,
Wookiee is the seventh paragon. Being a booty right now.
Tell Joe and Iris I love them.
Sorry, kid, but this has to happen. Momentarily stealing your speed. We played this pizza game long enough to learn some neat tricks. You know who said the Flash must die in crisis? He never said which one.
You called it. He said he's temporarily taking his speed, which means it's not for good.
True hero of Jefferson. I can't thank you enough. Breach, I need to get in that force field. No. Do you want your friend to die? Let me do this. Let me save you all. Cisco, don't. Keep lighting the lightning, son. I know you'll make us all proud.
Cisco, you need to be a team leader. And sometimes the leader has to make the tough choices.
He's gonna disappear.
Yep. There he goes. And you know what? That's a fitting ending to his
That
Flash.
is.
That's beautiful. Oh yeah!
The truth is, I have faith in you too.
Oh my god! That's from the show!
Yes, it is. Oh yeah,
Oh
that's
my
that
gosh.
scene.
It's freaking John Wesley Shipp scene that makes me tear up.
Oh my gosh. That was tremendous. That was great. All right, let's see. Who did I have? Dave. Dave of Steel. Just for you, buddy. We got you a Superman pixel pal.
Pixel of steel.
It's a pixel of steel, as it were. So that's for you right there. Because it's Crisis. And we got all kinds of giveaways.
Alondra Salazar Magic just said, what happened? I'm not watching it. Thomas said, I can't feel. I teared up. I'm trying to...
Alright, so tonight we got 3 winners so far. We got Dave of Steel wins the Superman. We got
Alondra
Thomas.
Salazar Magic just said, what happened?
What happened?
Twice. They're not watching it. They can't.
Oh, okay. John Wesley Shipp's The Flash from 1990.
Played his dad in the first season.
Yep, who played his dad, who's played Barry's dad on all this stuff. Well, his version of The Flash from the old TV show stepped in for Barry, took Barry's place. As I predicted.
Temporarily took his speed. You did predict that.
Yep, as I predicted.
A good send-off.
And had just a wonderful send-off just now. As he sacrificed himself, because he said the exact words that I said. All he said was the Flash has to die. Didn't say which
one.
Flash. So
he temporarily took his power or his speed. He got Vibe ended up putting him on the treadmill, going the opposite way to pretty much reverse it, just as it was going to take over the last Earth.
Yep.
Earth 1.
And hey, Braden, you are welcome, buddy. I'm so glad that you won, man. I think it's cool, and congratulations. So you got, was that right?
Yeah. The first
Yeah. That's I gotta remember what night it is. You got the Flash Pixel Pal.
Darth Tasty said greatly appreciated.
Dave of Steel got the Superman Pixel Pal. We got Thomas Bartholdi got the Flash.
Beefy Flash.
Beefy Flash. Connect is all. All right, we're back.
Thomas Bartoldi said try again. Or
All right.
thank you again.
You are welcome, Thomas. So we got that, and then of course Darth Tasty got Luke Skywalker from Tatooine. Now here's the thing. I will need you guys to reach out to me on social media, any of our social media pages or whatever, because I'll need your addresses to send you the items.
Alondra says, where do they sell those?
Which one?
It just says, where do they sell those? I don't know. Maybe everything? Alondra, where do they sell what? He showed 4 different things. Anything specific?
The DC Primal Age stuff was showing up at Target,
FYE too.
at FYE. I haven't seen them anywhere else, actually.
Alondra said the Flash.
The Primal Age one. These were showing up at Target and FYE. There's like Superman, Lex Luthor, Bizarro, Black Manta, bunch of stuff. So here's the thing, guys. If you just want the item, that's fine. I'll just send you the item. I don't know, what, because you guys, it's your item. You can do whatever you want to it. Some people ask us to sign them. If you want us to sign them, we'll sign them. If not, it's fine. You're not going to offend us.
This really is our cue to make like a tree and get all of his soul back to his body.
Oliver Queen.
Who are you?
Jim Corrigan.
Not the one I know.
But I'm also someone else. I'm something else. A Spectre.
Hike, crazy eyes.
In another life, I was a decorated police officer, a hero in my own right. But then I was called to a higher purpose. It's your turn now, Oliver.
Only you can light the spark, Oliver.
Check you out.
You called that
It's your
too.
destiny.
What is my destiny?
To save everyone. Otherwise, all universes, all the people you love, will perish.
Like the spark that takes down the First Order.
You called the Flash, Isaac called this.
I'm sorry, I have to. It's gonna be okay. It's going to be okay.
He still gets to wear green.
Yep. It's very Robin Hood there.
What now?
Wait.
Is it going to be in the costume?
Dad wouldn't come back with us.
Sorry, Sarah. The others fared any better?
Barry's team stopped the antimatter wave with 1 Earth left.
I need a drink.
I appreciate you helping us, Jefferson. I know what you've lost.
My world. I lost the love of my life.
I hear you, Caleb.
That's what made me tear up.
Nothing will ever be okay again.
I know. That Flash, the Flash from Earth 9, he looked just like Dad, Alan.
We're talking about
He was a resilient man. He spent years in prison for the murder of my mom. A crime one of my enemies committed and framed him for. Through all that, he never lost his light. Times like this, I try and do the same.
My father, Alvin Pierce.
framed.
He was a good man too. Reporter. Spent his life giving a voice to the voiceless.
He was CM Punk?
He was murdered when I was 12.
Oh.
But I still carry the lessons he taught me to this day. I passed them along to my girl. My girls. Anyway, I get it. Look, I don't think Henry or Alvin raised any quitters. So, we should honor their memory and rage against the dying of the light.
Tell it, Thomas.
But I'm all right. Then flash.
It's Barry. Barry Allen.
Jefferson Pierce.
Oh, I love it.
Very cool.
Hey, Cara. Listen, I get you wanted to bring those people back.
Lightning buddies.
You have the biggest heart of anyone that I've ever met.
Like thunder buddies.
I just want to see you get hurt. You know, I gotta say, for someone who was unsure that they were the paragon of courage, it took a lot of guts to do what you did. Maybe. But I have hope that there's a better way. Which is why I wanted to do this.
Oh.
Kryptonite. Why do you have that? It was Bruce Wayne's. He lost hope. And I never will. Keep it. And I have the courage that you'll never have to use it.
Attention, Iris, Ralph, and Raymond have returned with Dr. Chor.
Right, Jeff?
Iris. I told you I'd come running home to you.
It wasn't you then.
It's the Barry Allen from Earth 90. Everyone, this is Jefferson Pierce. We wouldn't have been able to stop the antimatter wave without him.
Wait, so the Superman thing is real?
Good! Yes!
Yes.
And this is your paragon of humanity, Ryan Choi. Scientist, super brain, and ready to help save the universe.
How do you guys plan on doing that exactly?
Well, Kara decided not to use the Book of Destiny.
It was too risky.
The Harbinger, unlike me, can travel anywhere she wants. So how do we find her?
By whatever means necessary.
Well, we can start by trying to retask the Wave Rider satellite search grid. Johnny,
You okay?
I'm sorry. I tried to get word to you that I was doing recon on Earth 1, but the deaths of the other Earths is affecting my abilities.
Where were you on Earth 1?
I can't remember.
It's okay.
I thought I lost you, Lila.
Not that easy. I just wish I could remember what happened.
Steve said pay attention, Ash. There will be a quiz at the end.
Antimatter wanted Harbinger back on the ship.
He's been controlling her the entire crisis.
And controlling you, only allowing you to appear. But I want you to see.
A great tragedy.
It's time to be the age of heroes. And everything close.
What?
Yeah, so funny thing about that, I haven't slept since the last time we were all together. What's
Urban?
up, Wicked Steve?
Urban said Monitor dies this episode. Ramik says Black Lightning, you are just amazing. I love it. I also agree with Thomas.
I'm thinking what Oliver.
And I love his suit too, Alex.
I'm thinking the way that Oliver's gonna go out is he's gonna come back as a Spectre, as everybody thinks he's gone,
Mm-hmm.
and then he's gonna help fight off the Anti-Monitor, and then when that's all done, then he has to go
Step
and,
back and-
fulfill and
Yeah.
be the Spectre.
But he doesn't die a physical death because that's still his sacrifice.
Yeah.
Which would be a fitting ending for him too.
Yeah.
That would be two fitting endings for those characters.
Speaking of riding the lightning, Something
That was awesome.
But something we totally missed in the Wonder Woman trailer. We have to rewatch that trailer.
Oh shit, she was in her lasso.
I noticed that the first time. She was using the lasso to ride the lightning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed that right off.
We didn't say anything about that in our trailer reaction. None of us said anything about it in the trailer reaction.
It showed her going like this,
Yeah.
and as the lightning stopped, she did that to go to the next. That's
well,
how
because
she
somebody
was
brought it up in the comments, and I was
Yeah, I
like,
noticed it
like,
right
what?
away.
And like I rewatched the thing, and like none of us even mentioned it.
Yeah, it was in both
None
the
of us
teaser
brought it
trailer
up.
and the actual trailer.
I didn't bring it up, but I noticed it.
Sure.
Oh, whatever.
Nah, she noticed.
It was in both the teaser and the actual
Yeah.
trailer.
I know, but the thing is like nobody mentioned it. It's funny. This is a good episode.
Mm-hmm.
It's fitting for the Flash. You can tell that it's written well.
You can tell it's the Flash writers because they're making me freaking cry.
The dialogue is written really well.
Yeah.
Right?
That was a very good ending, and the fact that Caleb
Well, it's not done.
I know, but what I'm saying is,
For
I was trying to say, if you let me finish, the ending for the Flash. I feel the same way that Caleb's uncle did. Is that's what they brought his episode, like his TV show, as his ending, as his last memory before he disappeared.
It is no longer your wife, John Gable. She has been taken by
The anti-mind.
This is for my God.
Well, we gotta work together.
The fate of all humanity lies with you now, Fire.
What can I do?
You will know when the moment arrives.
Harry Potter.
Those that cancel each other out, monitor anything on you.
Stop me, no Maurice. It's foolish to allow your creation in the first place.
It is done. The infinite Earths are gone. Soon only the antimatter universe will remain.
Warning, the anti-matter wave will hit the ship in 28 seconds.
I know what I must do. Where did you send them?
Somewhere you can't touch it.
Wherever they are, they're gonna fight me.
By any means necessary.
To their very last breath.
What just happened? Where are we?
This is the vanishing point.
What's that mean?
It's a point outside of time and space.
What happened to the Wave Rider and the others?
The anti-monitor. He used Harbinger to attack us. Pariah must have sent us here knowing that the anti-monitor couldn't follow.
We have to go back. We have to go back right now.
Harry, we can't. They're gone.
How?
the vanishing point, and I thought Destiny could use a little rewrite.
What?
Join host Kevin Smith as he takes us through the crossover Crisis Aftermath, coming up next.
Where am I? You're in the Speed Force, Barry.
Oliver, the anti-monitors of the dawn of time. This extremely powerful. The eight of us might not be enough.
Crisis on Infinite Earth. The CW's crossover event concludes January 14th.
Did you see what I just saw? Everything changes right now, folks. Resurrections, evil heroes, the death of the Flash, but not that Flash. We're going to talk about all of it right here on Crisis Aftermath. Come on. Welcome to Crisis Aftermath, man. It's a good thing that this show exists outside of time and space because things are looking pretty bad for our heroes. So much to cover. Where do we even begin? How about introducing the panel, man? Executive producer Mark Guggenheim is with us again. Universally recognized nerd Danny Fernandez is back. And look at this. The baddest of the bad, man. And the baldest of the bald. Lex Luthor himself. John Cryer is here. Kenny, how are you,
Thank
man?
you. I'm very well, very well. And you?
So damn good. I have been enjoying what you've been doing with Luthor. Look, I'll get into it later, but I think it's the best interpretation of Luthor that's ever been done. We'll talk about that in a second.
Okay.
The multiverse is kaput. Superman is dead, and Anti-Monitor's evil plan centered around God's cruelest invention, a treadmill. John, here's a question from Twitter, man. They're asking, Orphan Steph says, what was your favorite scene to shoot?
Well, we shot a huge scene in a quarry, and it hasn't actually played yet, but it is the huge Shadow Demon battle. And we shot it in an actual working quarry, so there was actual huge explosions of dynamite going on as we were shooting the thing. So it was pouring rain. There were stunts, crazy stunts, and we had stunt explosions and real explosions, and with like small avalanches. The thing was, they were pulling out the stops for the crossover. And honestly, when I had done 3 episodes of Supergirl last year, and they told me they were doing Crisis, I said, okay, that might be something I have to do.
So let me ask you, that was something I wanted to know. Were you only going to do Luthor for just that little bit and then never again? And then you heard about this and you were like, I want to still play.
Yeah, well, the idea was that Luthor was only going to do 3 episodes. Yeah. And that was the whole point, was they're going to, we were just going to have some fun in this particular universe, and that was going to be it. But obviously, the character caught fire a little bit, and I knew Crisis was coming up, and I really wanted to participate in that.
And now you inherited the mantle, and your take on the character, to me, as a comic book reader, is the closest to the books that I've ever seen, except within the animated series, man.
Are you kidding me?
Live action, that is Luthor. I remember reading something about you. I don't know if it was tongue or cheek, but you were like, I gotta make up for like the Superman that I was in. Which I assume was like more humor than anything else. But you're a guy that's known for being funny, for playing funny. Was it exciting to be offered like,
Superman
the ultimate villain?
Nick Cage was going to be
yes, it was.
Superman.
It was a little
he doesn't
odd
know Superman.
because
He's
the
a
way it
Marvel
came
guy.
about was very strange. I got a call from an old friend of mine from summer camp who said, I think the producers of Supergirl are trying to get in touch with you. I'm like, what? And then Bill Prady, who's the producer of Big Bang Theory, wrote me an email saying, somebody wants to ask you about playing Lex Luthor. I said, wait, what is happening here? And then I got the call, and at first I just thought, why me? In a million years I wouldn't think. But then the second I started really going through the iterations of who this guy is, I was like, oh my God, I want to do this guy. And that I had the history with, obviously working with Gene. That interview was not really a joke. It was that Superman 4 was a very emotional thing for me. Being a part of the Superman universe was really important to me. And unfortunately, that movie, they ran out of money on it. I don't know if you've seen Superman 4, but it is not the most it is not the most polished of the Superman franchise. And I had always been very disappointed in that. I had always felt like, and it was also sort of the end of the Christopher Reeve Superman, and that broke my heart because I loved it as a kid. In 1978 when I saw Superman the movie, I believed a man could fly. Exactly. And so being a part of that was important to me, and that I felt like we let down the legacy of it. And so when the producers of Supergirl told me what they wanted to do with Lex, I was like, oh, because I haven't seen a comics accurate Lex.
You're absolutely right. Did you go to the material? Are you a fan?
Yeah,
What?
Absolutely. I collect Jack Kirby comic art. I go to Comic-Con on purpose, and just by myself for fun. I grew up kind of immersed in the Marvel universe, and only actually came later to understand all the great stuff that was going on in DC.
Apparently not well enough.
A part of my youth, and Crisis itself was a part of my youth because it was so ambitious.
As an 80s kid, I never could have envisioned Ducky as Luthor. But you are absolutely
Here we go,
blowing up
Steve.
your net like me.
Call him Ducky.
That everyone tried to get a hold of you. It's like, dude, check your DMs.
Hours 2 and 3 of Crisis were all about the Paragons, man. The search for those 7 extra special do-gooders set this whole adventure in motion. So, Mark, what do the Paragons represent?
Well, they represent different aspects of humanity. Hope and love and courage and truth but what they really represented for us as writers was we needed a MacGuffin. We needed our heroes to be looking for something, and every year prior to Crisis on Earth, they did an annual crossover between Justice League of America and the Justice Society of America.
For a second, I thought Brian was going to send them to the real world, Earth
written by
Prime,
Jerry
but I guess
Conway and drawn by
what
George
they
Perez
did
during
made
Crisis.
sense.
Was
That would've
about
been cool,
the idea
Dale.
that there were these special characters that in the comic, if you remove them from the universe, basically all superheroes would disappear.
Right.
But the idea that there are these special heroes that are out
Michael
in the multiverse,
Rosenbaum
that was
is
worth
by far the
appropriating.
greatest Luthor
And
that's ever
appropriating,
been.
just call it fancy writer talk over there. Let's talk about Batwoman, the paragon of courage. Danny, what makes Batwoman courageous in your estimation?
Well, she was not someone that originally even planned to be a vigilante, and
Welcome back,
she's
Andrew.
also fighting alongside people that have superpowers. So that takes
What's
a
up,
lot of
Andrew?
courage to be like, oh, I might be the first one to die here. But
I
she
don't
also
know,
has
William.
tremendous PTSD.
It's
She's
like
dealing with
it's like
discrimination
it's like
over
they're
sexuality.
purposely
Like, there's
taking
so
a
many
crap
things that
all
she's
over
going up
everything
against,
that's
so
come
many
before
obstacles
them.
that she's had, and yet she
Acting
still
like it
is
didn't
fighting
exist.
for us for some reason. So that takes a lot of courage.
John
She
Shea
stands up against
played a better
Supergirl.
Lex
Yes,
Luthor
she's got some
on
kryptonite
Lois
in her
and
pocket,
Clark,
but
The New
she's
Adventures of Superman,
got a
because
lot of courage
he was
there in that
absolute.
moment.
Besides
They
the
do have a
fact
nice
that
world's finest
he
dynamic
wasn't
going
bald,
on with
he
Kara
was
being
spot
like, hey, we're
on
friends, and
Luther
Batwoman
for
being like, I don't know.
the early
I think
episodes of
in
Lois and
the
Clark.
years
He was
to
the
come,
billionaire
we will
Luther
see
that was in the comic
relationship
books at the
between
time. She
Kate
was
and Kara
following right along
is
with the
the
comic books.
replacement for the relationship
So I
between
don't know
Barry
what
and
the
Lois.
heck they're talking
Ooh,
about.
nice, man. Inside dirt right there. John, Lex Luthor seems to have taken Superman's place as a paragon of truth,
Which is
thanks to the
bullcrap.
bookmark of destiny.
Yes.
Let's take another look at how he got there.
We have to go back. We have to go back right now. Harry, we can't. They're gone.
Let's kill all the Supermen.
I am so happy that worked.
Lex, what did you do?
Well, I held the Book of Destiny, and I saw you 7 paragons stranded at the vanishing point. And I thought Destiny could use a little rewrite.
That's the same symbols on that paper. Did you see it?
You're in a scene like that. Are you like, get me a costume?
I get some very nice suits.
You do.
They're beautifully tailored. Yeah, you know,
Thanks, Rick and Steve. It's
it
super
was
cold right now.
It was
We're
me
down in
and
the
a bunch
20s.
of
These are
tapes.
perfect.
You look like the one guy at the house that everybody's trick-or-treating at.
Yeah, it was fun though. You know, it was, and also a great sort of gut punch part of the show because you know, because that was my holy moment. Was going, oh no, you know, because Brandon. As Superman is just a great Superman.
And it's something they've been teasing the whole time. Like, you're going to see him in the suit, he's back. And then you take him away.
Oh, God. It's it's like in Aliens when the captain, or rather Alien when the captain dies. You know, it's like, oh, no, things are not going to go well from
Anything
here.
can happen.
Yeah.
What is it like playing Lex Luthor? How does one approach the character? Because it's, you know, it's, one would be tempted to play him as just a villain, but he doesn't see himself as a villain. He sees himself as a world savior.
Oh, absolutely. He's a bit of a sociopath in this one. They've allowed that layer to come in, whereas he's been a little more clownish in the films and stuff like that. But even the worst sociopath, you know, Ted Bundy was incredibly charming and worked at a suicide prevention hotline. He saved some lives. You know, so people are complicated, and that's what I'm letting Lex be.
Ted Bundy is like, why are you harshing on me? I saved all these other
Exactly. I only killed
on the average
100.
You know, it's nice when everyone can talk about Bundy.
John
and
Cryer is way too self-important.
Well, you know,
really reduces it down to what it is. I want to thank John Cryer for joining us, man. Excellent job killing Luthor.
Thank you.
Well, not killing, but killing it as Luthor.
Killing it as.
Yeah, we got to be careful what we say around here. People take it seriously, write it down.
Thomas just
We've
said
got
Lex
so
is
much
Ted
more in
Bundy.
store tonight on Crisis Aftermath, including a visit
Lex
from
Bundy?
the voice of Batman himself, Kevin Conroy, and the world premiere teaser for CW's newest superhero, Stargirl, man. I've read the Book of Destiny, and it says you won't go anywhere. Stay right there.
You did it, You lick his eyeballs?
Oh, I want to eat some cookies. Get the note.
His legs, maybe.
Hey there, buddy. Hey there, buddy. I love you.
Wookie
You say hi to the camera?
Wookie came in to give his daddy some loving.
Did you say hi to the camera? Say hi. Say hi, guys. Welcome to the Poindexter Lounge. Welcome to the Poindexter Lounge. I'm Wookie.
William says, I'm not really liking this Aftermath episode. Thomas said so cute about Wookie, and Caleb says, I just can't get the idea out of my head. Just imagine. Barry trying to convince the different cast members that the shows are real. Have Mark Guggenheim be the presence.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, I'm with you, William. I don't know what the heck is going on here. I did not like that ending at all.
You don't like anything with Lex, so that wouldn't have, I don't think that would have
I
mattered.
don't like the
We
fact.
still have 2 hours left of story.
I
I
know.
know.
But I don't like the fact that I gotta wait till January.
14th.
And I had.
After Landon's birthday and halfway to mine before we get to see any ending to this.
And we lost the best Superman, and I don't know.
At least we didn't lose.
But then I had to
At
listen to
least
John
we-
Cryer talk.
At least we didn't have to lose Tom Welling that way, though.
Exactly. And I liked 2.5 Men until.
Steve said, I
it got
still can't
stupid.
believe it's not butter.
But is it? It might be.
Pretty sure.
Pretty sure it's not butter. It's not butter. It's not. No, it's not. It's not butter. It's not Lex Luthor either. No.
He's kissing you like that, shut up.
It's not Lex Luthor. It's not Luthor. Is it Luthor? If it's Luthor, speak. See there? I knew it. I knew it. If it's not Luthor, speak. Speak. Can you speak? Say woof. Woof
You're
woof.
gonna get in trouble for speaking unless there's a treat involved.
Say hi.
He said kiss.
So, I thought that the episode was very interesting, to say the least. I did not like the way that they killed off Superman at the end.
Thomas goes, he knows.
He does. He does. Excuse me, I'm giving my critique. And I also think that there should have been more Crypto, the super dog, in this. Where was Crypto? Where was Ace? Yeah, see, you know, Ace the Bat Hound, right?
All right, guys, I gotta go. Gotta keep working on my startup. That was William.
All right, William. Hey, man. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit about this. Tiffany, what'd you think of this episode? While we're waiting here for.
I actually thought the episode was good. It was. You can definitely tell it was written by the Flash writers.
Yeah.
Because it was just very well put. It had more feeling. It made me tear up, which is what Flash is known for doing. But I thought it was because they gave a great send off.
Back to
John
Crisis
Wesley
Aftermath. I'm here with Mark
Yeah.
Guggenheim, Danny Fernandez, and our next guest is the showrunner of The Flash. It's Eric Wallace.
William said, by the
How are
way,
you, sir?
9.8 out of 10 for
Okay,
me. Bye.
as we saw tonight, Crisis on Infinite
Good
Earths
job.
deals a lot with fate and destiny. The crisis itself has been teased since the very first episode of The Flash. I remember seeing this headline and being incredibly excited inside, goosebumps, going like, they're talking about Crisis. Like, I know what that is. Like, will they ever do it? What's it like building up to an event that massive?
You think to yourself, okay, we got to honor this really incredible comic book event. So you're putting the season together, and we started at the end last year with Elseworlds, and you're like, does the Flash really have to die? Do we really have to do this? And not only...
Sure, Grant was like, no!
Yeah, and I was the same way. We can't do that. He's got to live. So you've got to come up with a way to
It does,
honor
Jeff.
what we've said with the monitor in 601 saying the Flash must die, but also give it a nice story twist, get us some emotion. So we thought about it for quite a while, and we got to what I hope the audience
Us
thinks
too,
is
Cam.
a very satisfying conclusion, which is a little bit of the best of both worlds. Grant
Isaac
almost
called
doing it,
Oliver
wanting to,
as
being the hero
Spectre,
that we always thought
and
he
I
was gonna
called,
be.
A couple months ago.
Very last
and I
second,
called,
he runs John Wesley's ship.
John Wesley
And it
ships the
completes a
Flash,
30-year
sacrificing
arc.
himself.
And here I am watching this.
Caleb hit it right on the head. He says, I really loved how unpredictable the crossover has been. Some of it was infuriating, but most of it was
this
awesome.
could only happen on a crossover.
You even brought in the score.
Yes.
Like when I heard the old score come in.
And Jeff wants to see the
And,
super
you know,
animals in
John
the
Wesley's ship has
Arrowverse.
been well
Rod,
served by
Crypto,
the
King
Arrowverse
Shark,
for
etc.
years now, but
being
this
involved
is
in
such a
Crisis.
grand,
They were
glorious
affected
moment
by
to
it
see
too.
him back in that suit. Because in many ways, like, that show was a trailblazer for, like, what you guys been doing for years. Seeing him back in the suit and then dying as the Flash is really,
Cam
really
TV
good.
said also, where's the reverse Flash? He leads an army in iconic comic version. We still have 2 more episodes left. That would be what brings us back.
Yes.
We'll see that come full circle.
That trailer score,
Yeah.
the script originally,
That was something we added in the editing room.
So it
That's
wasn't in the
not
script?
Flash.
Wasn't in the script.
So what happens in an instance like that? You cut together the show and you're like, oh, wait, if we did this.
What we want to see a little bit of his life flashing, no pun intended, before his eyes. You know, we just craved it, and you know, our amazing post producer Jeff Garrett, went to the archives and got the footage, and we have to change the aspect ratio because that is different aspect ratio.
Right, they were shot
Oh,
in
thanks,
3:3
Jeff.
back in the day.
So
We're glad you're here, man.
Man, it's awesome. It's like one of my favorite moments of that hour.
That's crazy, man. That's a nice touch. As we were just saying, we finally saw Flash meet his fate, but it didn't play out exactly like he expected. So let's take another look.
Couldn't be a hero. I am without you guys.
He was ready to make that sacrifice though.
Yeah, he was.
John herself.
Sorry, kid, but this has to happen.
I love that.
Momentarily stealing your speed. You play this picture game long enough, you learn some neat tricks. You know who said the Flash must die in Crisis? He never said which one.
He had a great run on that show.
You're cruel, man. How do you decide to kill off such a big hero? I mean, look, you killed off the Flash, but not the Flash that everyone's like tuning in to see every week. So you got to have your cake and eat it too.
We did, but hopefully we honor the original Flash, from the 90s show. And up until that moment, right before it happens, hopefully the audience is literally saying, there's no way out of this. There's no way out of this. And then the twist comes. And you have these 2 great performers, 2 generations, where you had Grant Gustin, who loves John, and John loves Wesley.
That'd be cool, Caleb.
John loves himself.
John loves Grant. And to see them working together, and that was a real emotion.
Caleb,
that you
that
saw
would
in
have
that
been, that'd
scene
be
as they
awesome.
kind of realized,
We know that's real
Grant's
emotion
like,
because we've heard it
he's
from
passing
him
a real torch
himself
to
at
me.
Comic-Con.
This really is the end of him. And then John, he told us, I think, afterwards, thank you for giving me this opportunity to close a chapter.
Oh my God, I'm now crying.
That's so
I'm
him.
crying. That's so true. I never thought about that. When they ended Flash, it ended unceremoniously, and they didn't like, here's your season finale. So to actually bring closure to his incarnation, come on, that's a gift. That John Wesley ship death, that's big time.
We're very lucky.
Absolutely,
Well, I
absolutely
teared
true.
up.
Now that the Anti-Monitor has won,
And they did a
ostensibly, the
flashback,
multiverse is gone.
pun intended,
And
of
everything
him.
is nothing. I personally am having trouble staying sane, man. Here to give us the latest multiverse report is Entertainment Weekly's own Chancellor Agard. Chancellor, how you doing, man?
Dealing.
All right, take us there. You got the big board. I got some things here. I can try to help you out.
Well, in the past 2 hours, we went to 8 parallel Earths. First, we started on Earth 18, where Barry, Mia, Constantine, and Sarah tried to resurrect Oliver, kind of turned him into a zombie, and fought a version of Jonah Hex without his iconic star. Then we went to Earth 167, where we encountered Tom Welling from Smallville, who gave up his powers to chop wood and have kids with Smallville's Erica Durant's, the Lois Lane to his Clark.
He still won't wear the S.
No! On Earth 96, Brendan Ralph wore the S, specifically in a suit based off of Alex Ross's Kingdom Come design.
Oh, yeah, we were all very tingly about that.
And speaking of Kingdom Come, that comic also gave us the rock-bottom Bruce Wayne wearing the exoskeleton who killed Superman on Earth 99, played by, in my opinion, the best Batman, Kevin Conroy, who voiced him on the animated series and in the video games.
Yes.
Then,
Jeff, we can talk about that in just a minute, man.
The man himself, Lucifer, played by Tom Ellis on the Netflix show Lucifer, which is inspired by the DC comic The Sandman. This is his first Arrowverse appearance, as you said earlier. Also making his Arrowverse debut is Black Lightning. So now, the only CW show not involved in a crossover is Nancy Drew. And finally, we learned that Earth 203 is where the women from the 2000s era Birds of Prey show hang out. But none of this matters because the Anti-Monitor destroyed all of this and everything we've loved and known, including this entire segment. And there you have it.
There it is. Thanks, Chancellor, man. God, Lord, take some mind to bring us through all that. Okay.
Nancy Drew is supposed to be a spoiler.
It's so hard to say goodbye to our favorite characters from the Arrowverse. Let's take a minute now to pay tribute to all the people, places, and yes, planets that we've lost along the way. Roll that sad-ass clip.
But this is kind of anticlimactic because we know that.
You know, what we thought it should be all of them right now, maybe. Now it's going to be just some keep fighting.
No matter what.
All the puppies in every universe. Aww. Earth 90.
All the Earths.
Everyone on every other Earth. Boca Raton, Florida.
Boca Raton.
Kevin Smith, Earth 420. That's funny.
I hadn't even thought of that. Now facing my own mortality. So weird.
I love that.
Yeah, right?
I love that they did dogs and not cats.
I want to thank Eric for joining us, man. When we come back, we're going to be talking to a man who sounds a lot like Batman. And we have the world premiere of the Stargirl
Heck
teaser.
yeah.
Brightest day and blackest night. We will see you later tonight. Stick around.
He talks very much with his hands. He's always funny.
Okay, so Jeff, what do I need to do to catch up?
Watch everything.
Yeah, you'd have to watch everything.
For Crisis? Like to understand Crisis?
To understand Crisis, I would say probably the CW app. If you go to CW.com or download the CW app, you'll be able to watch all of these episodes. If you're just talking about the Crisis episodes,
The crossover itself.
the Crisis crossover itself. If you're talking about these shows in general, I mean, The Flash is in its 6th season. Arrow is in its final and 8th season.
Black Lightning is in its second.
No, it's in
Third.
Third already.
Third
Holy
season.
cow.
Supergirl's in its 4th season.
Fifth.
Is it 5th already?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's right. I skipped half of the season.
You haven't seen the 5th season.
No.
What's the other shows that are in there? Batwoman is in its 1st.
Yep.
Legends is in its 4th.
Yep.
Yep. So you'd have to go back. You'd
Fifth.
have a
No,
lot of watching to do.
Legends is in its 5th, actually.
But a lot of the shows are on Netflix. If you have Netflix,
Yeah.
The Flash is on Netflix.
All except the most recent, like the season going on right now. All the other seasons are on the
Yep.
are on Netflix.
Yep. But you can find the current season on the CW
Yep.
app. So
probably have
Green
to-
Arrow's on there. Is Legends on there?
What? Netflix?
Yeah.
Yeah, all of them are.
Oh, all of them are on there. So they're
Yep.
all of them. So Oliver's on all of them.
All of them.
Oliver.
Well, technically, yeah, showed up
Jeff
on
says,
the
"Wow, that's a lot of binging."
That is a lot of binging.
Uh-huh.
So, or you could just be like us and just watch The Flash, because it seems like if you watch The Flash, you can pretty much catch on with where everything else is going, for some reason.
There's gonna be a good one to watch.
Sorry about that, guys.
Reverse Scully said, "Not my Flash. I don't care." Wicked Steve says Kevin Smith is so awesome in person. I go at times to watch his live podcast at the Hollywood Star Wars themed cantina. Good times.
That's cool. That's cool.
That's
I know.
awesome.
He seems like a really nice guy. I realized something tonight about him that I never really realized before, and that is he really doesn't know that much about DC.
Because he's Marvel.
He's a big Marvel guy, but this whole idea that that somehow what's his name is the best Lex Luthor we've gotten on screen is like,
Jeff says right now I'm catching up on Disney Plus stuff.
oh yeah, Disney Plus, baby. I actually started watching The Simpsons again.
The other Jeff said, Philippines Jeff said, The Flash is the quote central show of the entire Arrowverse now. See what I did there?
Yep, I see what you did there. And you know what's funny is even though Green Arrow is the show that started it all, The Flash has kind of been that center show that everything kind of, like I said, I haven't watched Arrow yet. I know what's going on with Arrow because I watched The Flash. I've known what's going on with Arrow. I've seen bits and parts of it. I don't know every little storyline that goes on with it, but I don't need to know every storyline because by the time that they come in with everything else, it's there, you know. So plus you can find stuff online and synopsises and stuff like that you can read, and you know, you don't have to watch every single episode unless you just want to. You know,
I like watching them because then it gives it more meaning. Like when you, like you've seen that build up like before, like you've watched that build up over the years.
Like that talk with Barry
Like,
and
both
with Black Lightning. It just, I mean, yeah, you understand it, but it's like watching that show. You got the feels from both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I get it. I've tried several times to watch Arrow, and I'll just be honest with you, I just do not find Arrow to be an interesting character. I just don't find it to be as interesting as everybody seems to think it's interesting.
Jeff Glatfelty says, I love Batman, but everything else seems to go over my head. Reverse Scully says Grant Gustin is the best Flash.
Oh yeah, Grant has done a tremendous job.
But
as
John
the Flash.
Wesley Shipp is
Yes.
for me is for two things. He was the 90s. He was my original Flash first, and getting to meet him made it just that much better. But Grant Gustin is my Flash.
And look, I'm not gonna act like his show, The Flash, was some great, amazing thing, because it really wasn't at the time.
Crisis on Infinite
But it's
Earths
cool how they
after
brought
show.
it in together
The
now.
Anti-Monitor's evil plan brought an end to the universe and killed everyone we've ever loved. But on the plus side, the Arrowverse finally got to see Bruce Wayne. Although this Bruce Wayne was a bit of a grump. Let's look.
This guy's not a paragon of anything. I was right. We can't trust the Monitor.
What?
did you do? Clearly what you couldn't.
How is he a threat?
Strange visitor from another planet comes to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Clark. Clark always said yes to anyone with a badge or a flag. He gives him too much power. My parents taught me a very different lesson. Life only makes sense if you force it to.
Come on, man. Holy crap. I'm so happy to have one of my personal idols here. The one true Batman, ladies and gentlemen, is Kevin Conroy.
Hey,
how
how's
are
it
you,
going?
Captain?
How's it going? Good to see you.
It was so, yes, everybody knows.
I am vengeance.
My nipples got hard, man.
And I'm in the radius of his voice. I can like feel it.
You have spent the better part of the last, what, 25 years or more?
27.
27 years as the voice of the one true Batman. This is the first time you actually got to physically portray him in real media. What was that like?
It's incredible to get that opportunity finally.
Right.
But as old Bruce Wayne, you know, old, sort of angry,
Yeah, cynical.
bitter Bruce Wayne. So it's a version of him I had never imagined, and I really leapt at the opportunity. I was so happy.
How did it happen? You got a call and they were like, hey man, we got an idea.
Well, it was so wonderful. It was sort of a mixture of worlds because the person who's responsible for a lot of casting at Warner Brothers now, for on-camera casting, is someone I've known for 40 years from, I used to do theater in New York, as you know.
Yeah.
And I know Tom Burke from the old days in New York, and he knew my work from the stage. So he knew me as an on-camera actor and as a stage actor long before any of the voice stuff came along. So when this came up, I think the producers were talking about it, and Tom was there to say, well, you know, I know him from his on-camera work and his stage work. He can handle this. So it was a mixture of worlds. It was wonderful.
Was it that simple? And were you in the room when they were like, what if we got Kevin Conroy?
Oh, yeah. We wanted Kate to meet a version of Bruce that was obviously different from the Earth 1 version of Bruce. And we were talking about, you know, who could play an older Batman, an older Bruce Wayne. And the moment Kevin's name came up in the room, the entire room went insane. I mean, just insane. We knew we had to do it. And, you know, Tom, actually, I think he was like, I'm actually having dinner with Kevin tomorrow. Like, he brought it up.
We've remained friends for 40 years, so that was just a great, happy coincidence.
There's a lot of things that happen both on these shows and in the crossover that, quite frankly, I believe only happen by dint of destiny.
Really?
You know, and this was absolutely one of those fortuitous moments where it's like, oh, this is meant to be.
It's like, when you talk about destiny, though, I mean, my even playing this role, this is the first animated role I ever auditioned for.
Are you kidding?
Never. Wow. It was the first audition I went in on for an animated character.
Your performance as Batman is the one that, like, when I read a comic book, I hear your voice. When I think of Batman, when I see a review of something and they talk about Batman says this, I always hear.
I agree. Everybody's always going to have their own version of who the best is.
Work.
I get the love for I get the love for Kevin Conroy because
Since
that's
we have
a lot of
the
people's
voice of Batman right here. We knew that we had to milk it, so we asked fans
childhood.
what they'd most like to hear the Dark Knight say. Kevin,
Nice.
you down to read some of
But-
this?
I'm down.
Oh yeah.
Did you hear it?
I wouldn't say
Here
he's
we
the
go, man.
best.
Take it away.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
They had people tweeting on what I wanted them to say.
Draw me like one of your French girls.
Oh, such a better version of Titanic. I wish both the kids had lived in that version.
Welcome to Good Burger. Home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order?
Oh, every Nickelodeon kid just lost it.
Oh no!
Yes.
Jingle bells, Batman smelled, Robin laid an egg. The Batmobile lost a wheel and Joker ran away.
I think we've been all waiting to hear that one.
Hey, Kevin Smith, if I were a real person, you and I would be close friends.
At that clip.
I love you, Kevin.
Fan did that.
I stuck that one in myself. I'm literally gonna roll a tear,
That's
man.
awesome.
Kevin, thank you so much for not only joining us, for being Batman for the last 27 years, man.
Appreciate it.
We gotta take a break, but when we come back, we're gonna chat with Robert Wool about returning to the DC Universe. And we'll look forward to January's finale of Crisis on Infinite Earths, man. We're Paragon, but we're not para-forgotten. Stick around, we'll be right back.
I'm a little concerned now that at the end of the day, they're just going to bring all these worlds back and put everything similar to the way that it was before.
Isn't that what the Snap did?
Kind of.
The anti or
But that's not what Crisis on Infinite Earths was. Crisis on Infinite Earths actually killed them off, and actually none of those Earths came back for like 30 years. And then after they did start coming back, like it wasn't every one of them, it was just certain ones and certain characters and certain people. So, I mean, by the way I'm watching stuff, I almost feel like Earth 38's gonna come back.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think that Earth 38 should come back. I feel that that should get folded into just one world. I don't know.
Earth 1's definitely coming back.
What's that?
Earth 1's definitely coming back. So that's where
Well,
most
yeah.
of the Arrowverse characters
Yeah,
are.
Earth 1's definitely coming back.
Caleb says he doesn't agree.
You don't agree?
No, he says I don't agree. Christopher Reeve wasn't just the best Superman. He was Superman. Is Superman. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Well, Caleb, I gotta disagree with you there. So I agree and I disagree with you. I agree in the fact that Superman or Christopher Reeve was a certain Superman. Christopher Reeve was that golden age Superman for sure. But honestly, so growing up, I would have told you absolutely he was my favorite Superman because he's the Superman that I knew growing up. Growing up. The reason why I wouldn't say he's my favorite now, I love him and I'm super nostalgic for him. And I think he's the best looking as far as like, because he actually had that spandex suit like he would have had in the comics, right? And he looked like he walked out of a comic. The problem is the character itself isn't actually that, because in the Christopher Reeve Superman movies, it's not his fault, but Clark is the facade. Superman is the real person. Because he plays Clark as a bumbling idiot, and Superman is the real thing in that iteration. To which I wouldn't say that's the reality. Clark is the real guy, and Superman is the mask. You know what I mean? So it's like, so that's the only thing that keeps me from saying that Christopher Reeve is the best, because he looked the part. He played the best golden age Superman we could have ever asked for sure.
So the Red Streak.
Yes,
he
it did.
nails that.
Yep,
he
that's
definitely
Reverse
nails
Flash.
that. But I don't know that I would. I don't know that I would say, because I'll be honest with you. I just started watching. I watched half of Man of Steel last night again.
Broadcasting from the heart of Los
And
Angeles.
holy
69.
cow! If Henry
I'm your
Cavill
host,
didn't
Kevin
nail
Smith.
that.
Joining us now, the man who played Alexander Knox in Tim Burton's Batman. It's Robert Wall. How are you, sir?
How you doing, buddy?
Such a pleasure, man. We got to see you in the first installment of Crisis on Infinite
Brad,
Earths.
you're
It
right,
seems
man.
you were nothing
Superman
but
is
antimatter
involved.
ray.
Yeah, just one line.
Yeah.
Hope it was great fun, though. I have to tell you, I had a blast. They asked me to do it. I didn't think twice. I just said, yeah, go ahead and do it. It's been 30 years.
It's been a minute. And you were there for the laying of the track in 1989 with Tim Burton's Batman.
Right.
That is the model from which most superhero movies are kind of cut at this point.
Knox.
When you guys were
Where's the
there,
recorder?
did you ever imagine one day
Yeah.
there'd be a universe of movies with a lot of people in costume? Batman makes sense because they had done the TV show. Did you foresee superheroes like in
Well, not to this extent. Look, I knew I was part of something special. First of all, going to Pinewood Studios and seeing Tim Burton's Gotham City every day was really cool. Because I was not a big fan of the TV series. It was too jokey for me.
Right.
And people were worried. A, it was the most expensive movie ever made up to that point. B, it was much darker than anybody expected it to be. And C, are you old enough to remember the backlash of Michael Keaton?
People were so mad it broke the internet and there was no internet.
Exactly, and exactly. Michael Keaton being announced as Batman. We
They
look
were
at
like, Mr. Mom.
Exactly. It was Mr. Mom, or in London it was Mr. Mum. And then of course you had Jack, which was a whole different kettle of fish,
I remember that movie so well, incredibly well, but I remember the trailer too, and the dry trailer, the first trailer they did, which had almost no score, it was just a series of images, and you have the detective, is there a 6-foot bat in Gotham City line moment still resonates with me. When they called you up for Crisis, and they're like, we wanted you to come back, play Alexander Knox, do you even bother going back to look at the movie and be like, what did I do 30, 40 years ago?
Actually, it's funny because I had tuned it in. It was on one of the channels, and I hadn't seen it in about 10, 15 years. And I watched about an hour of it, and yes, it was dark, but it was also fun.
Very much.
The first ones were fun, more so than...
Jack Nicholson brought a lot of fun.
Well, yeah. The Prince songs.
The Prince,
so it was fun.
You got to remember too, like in terms of 1989, when they did this incarnation of Batman, Batman fans were like, finally, this is the real Batman. He ain't jokey. He's dark. This is dark. Okay. Not only did we get to revisit Tim Burton's Batman, we also got another chance to see Tom Welling as Clark Kent from Smallville. But anyone expecting him to wear the cape was in for a bit of a surprise, including Lex Luthor.
You gave up your powers?
Can't say I've missed these chats.
You were basically a god. You could fly. You could see through
I love you,
walls.
Caleb.
Super strength.
We just disagree on Superman, man.
You're kidding me. That is worth more than any superpower.
Hey, Clark, the girls want to show you what they made.
I think it's time for you to... Still stronger.
That's dope, man. Mark, how'd you pick the cameos for this? Because there have been DC movies and shows over history, and you've pulled from a lot of them. How do you do it? How do you figure out?
We just had a list, and we got so lucky. I remember saying to the writers as we were working on this, I said,
I hear you,
we have a list of
Scully.
100 cool things.
Glad to have you
We only
here,
did
man.
50, then we've still done 50 cool things.
It's just a cool thing, man. It's, once again, fan service.
I love seeing all the different Supermans because I feel like there's so many different ways that you can play him, and he wrongly, I think, gets put in the singular box.
Yeah.
And people think that he's simple, but he's the farthest thing. He's such a complex character.
It's tough to write for. Like, most writers will dismiss it and be like, oh, how do you write for a guy that's got all the powers in the world? But that's kind of the challenge.
Yeah.
Isn't that Smallville moment was kind of everything, particularly for like old school Smallville fans who were there before there was an Arrowverse. There was a Smallville series that went for what, a decade or 11?
Yeah, a decade. And what was so great about Tom's scene in Crisis was it was written by Don and Holly Whitehead, who wrote on the original Smallville. So they obviously know the characters, and this was an opportunity for us to check back in with Lois and Clark and see what has basically happened over the intervening 10 years.
Oh, it was beautiful, man. It was an excellent
too,
touch.
Noel
As well as
Berto.
including this man. I want to thank
One
Rob
thing that made me tear
Wall
up.
for joining us. Excellent. Excellent meeting you. Excellent talking to you. Thanks for being involved in this. It was another bright moment of my childhood to come back to life, man. It's just delivered. Fan service to the highest degree. When we come back,
Right,
we've got
Noberto?
the exclusive world premiere teaser for CW's No Superhero, Stargirl. Great season.
Earth 90, man.
It's time for a commercial break. We'll be right back.
He disappeared like in Crisis in the comic, and they got to show the flashback of his original show.
I am so glad that he had his send off because as they mentioned earlier, we've talked about it several times here on the channel. He never got his send off. They just canceled the show. He never got a season finale or a season or series finale, and so
it stopped after the second season.
yeah, and after the first season, he only got one season.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he only got one season.
But they quantum leaped the ending.
It wasn't even an ending. It was just a regular episode. Like it didn't even end like we have like nowadays with like a
tie up the season and then.
Yeah, because all the episodes back then were just simply standalone episodes. It's not like it was now where it was like built up to something.
It's kind of like how SpongeBob still is. It's like no episode of SpongeBob like that.
Yep.
It's like,
Yep. So the thing is that the last episode was just an episode, and that was it, and then it was done, and you know what I mean? Like they would reference stuff, because Mark Hamill was on twice as the prankster. And so they referenced stuff. So like there was a story going forward, I mean, it happened week to week, but it wasn't like we watch The Flash now, where like there's an overall story that like builds up to the last episode.
20 episodes connect together somehow to make a final story.
No, at most at most shows back then would do a cliffhanger at the end of the season going into the next season. But they didn't even do that with The Flash. They literally just did like a regular episode and it was done.
Two things. Anakin said, what show will the next Crisis on Infinite Earths? Batwoman, Flash, Supergirl, or Arrow?
It's Arrow first and then Legends right after.
So that's how it starts on the 14th. And
January 14th is when it's coming back. It's done until January 14th. We get 2 episodes. We get episode of Arrow and then Legends.
Elias said 90s Flash had the best send-off. And then Caleb said, I'm open to changing my mind about Superman, except when it comes to comparing him to Jesus. I don't like that. He was envisioned as a Moses figure.
Well, Caleb, actually, Schuster and what's his name?
Are you tired to remember?
I am too tired to remember. I haven't slept since yesterday. So I actually have a book that I think you should read. It's called The Gospel According to the Greatest, The Gospel According to the World's Greatest Superhero. So the problem is he was not really written as Moses or Jesus. He was written as a messianic figure.
The answer I found is Joe Shuster and Jerry Siegel.
Yes, Schuster and Siegel. So here's the thing, is that Moses was a messianic figure, and Jesus was a messianic figure because we as Christians believe that Jesus was indeed the Messiah. Jews don't believe that, but
they do believe him to be a prophet.
But they don't believe he was anything. Maybe a good teacher, but that was it. But the thing is that they wrote him because they were 2 Jewish guys, and they specifically wrote him with that in mind. Just like his name Kal-El means sent of God, because the El means Elohim. It stands for Elohim. Jor-El is a loose translation of Father God sending his only son, this heavenly Father sending his only son to earth to be its savior. That is what Superman was based off of, and there's history behind that. And
colors in his suit stand for stuff.
Everything about Superman when he was created by those 2 guys was to be a messianic figure. Now, they didn't set out to call him Jesus, like that he was Jesus, because they didn't believe that Jesus was the Messiah. We as Christians do believe that Jesus is the Messiah, so yes, we would see Superman as a Jesus figure because of that. Moses, you have messianic types, and then you have the Messiah. So Moses is a messianic type. Joshua is a messianic type because Moses led the Israelites out of captivity. He set them free, as the Messiah was going to do spiritually. Same thing with Joshua. Joshua led them into the promised land, which the Messiah will lead them into the promised land of the afterlife. So
next year we'll not only be bringing
we can talk about that in a minute if
resolution
you
to
want.
Crisis on Infinite Earths, it'll also be giving us a brand new hero by the name of Stargirl. And here's the creator of Stargirl, Jeff Johns. How are you, sir?
Hey, buddy, how you doing?
Excellent.
Jeff
seeing you,
Johns,
man.
good old Jeff
You've been in
Johns.
DC Comics for years. For those that don't know, you've worked on the movies. Stargirl may not be a household name yet. Tell them who she is and why she's special to you.
Well, she's the first character I ever wrote, and in comic books, and created her in my very first comic book. But she is Courtney Whitmore.
Her name's Christian Harlow.
And she's this teenager whose mom remarries, and they move from LA to Nebraska. And there she discovers that her new stepfather, Pat Dugan, played by Luke Wilson, was a sidekick to a superhero when he was younger. And she finds his partner's old stuff, then goes for a joyride and gets involved in the superhero world.
And this character's been close to you for how many years now? You've been working on Stargirl.
20 years.
What was it like to bring it from the 2-dimensional page to the 3-dimensional screen?
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, she was inspired by my late sister, so it means a lot to me personally.
So I won.
To have her come off the page and onto the screen like this, and to work with the crew and the cast that I did, it was amazing.
It's so nice to see you still in the space and working on something that means so damn much to you, man. Danny,
Okay, so when you were looking at casting, what were some of the key things that were important to you that they embodied, the actress embodied the character?
Well, I looked at so many casting tapes and people that came in, and it was actually Brett Bassinger, who plays Stargirl. She's amazing. Right when I saw her tape, I was like, that's her. That's it.
Really?
It was done.
Just with the tape?
Yeah.
Self-tapes work? Okay, good to know.
They do.
Did it have anything to do with her alliterative superhero name?
Brett Bassinger.
Yeah, I mean, she
Well,
sounds
it's a
like she
great
bore
superhero
it.
name, but she
Awesome,
actually is a superhero
mannequin.
to me. She's an amazing actor to work with. She embodies like a heroic nature. She's super nice and incredibly talented. But it was her humor and heart that came through on that tape, and then she came in and read for us live, and it was just confirmed everything
Thank
that
you, Juan.
I felt. But it was
We love
it
you
was
too.
immediate. It was not, and I've looked at and seen so many people. And obviously, I was going to be very particular about this role. And
So close to you.
yeah, for Pat Dugan, played by Luke Wilson, I wrote the part for him. I didn't know him, but I wrote when I wrote Pat Dugan, I thought of Luke Wilson, and I wrote him a letter, and I said, hey, I wrote this for you, and we met, and he loved it. And
You scored him. Look
Yeah.
at you, Vision Quest.
Yeah.
Well done, man. So you've been living with this thing for about how long now? A year you've been working on it?
yeah, I mean, we've been working on it since over a year now, and it's all done and ready to go, and I'm anxious for people to see it.
I know, and you've seen so much of it. We've seen absolutely nothing, but now, right now, we're going to see the world premiere. First look at
Live
CW
trailer reaction.
Stargirl. Check it out.
Starman, are you there?
Ooh, I like the card. Era.
The Justice Society must live on. The honor must carry the torch.
I know this has been difficult. The move and a new stepfather, but we're gonna make a good life.
Hey, sorry, that's just real delicate.
What are you?
It's because her staff is extremely temperamental. Staff's not supposed to work for anyone except Starman.
This has to be the reason the staff lit up. The staff chose me, and I choose you.
I never thought there'd be another Starman.
Stargirl.
Stargirl.
Yes.
Series coming spring 2020 on the CW.
You know what, man? I have a child, and I saw that child get born, and that's better than that. Incredible, man. I can't believe it. Congratulations.
Thanks.
It must feel amazing to see it go from the page up onto a real show.
Very exciting.
You rock, man.
Thanks,
Well
buddy.
done. Check out Stargirl when it drops next year. Thanks,
Very
Jeff, for
cool.
stopping by. You want to get hugged to death by Bebo? Then don't go anywhere. Stick around for more Crisis
Nice.
Aftermath. My lord.
Legends reference.
Anyways, Caleb, to finish what I was saying,
And
yeah,
a lot of
so
stuff, Bebo.
so there's messianic
Hey,
characters in the Bible.
what do you
Like I
think
said,
of it?
Moses, Joshua, are two of those. I'm trying to think if those are the two big ones in the Bible. That's a good question, Juan. Wrong Starman, Wicked Steve.
Rather see him as the dude.
That's funny though. Because I remember that movie. I definitely remember that movie. I don't know, Isaac. Do you have any ideas outside of the United States where people can watch it?
Juan just said, "Can somebody please tell me where I can watch the episode? I'm not from the States. Help."
No, first only thing I can think of is the CW app or website.
Yeah, I think the only thing you could do at that point is you
Steve just said
you
what
can
the wrestler dude says one word.
you can look up probably VPN things.
Yeah.
Devices, VPN devices, where that stops things from knowing, I guess, where you're. I've never used a VPN device like that, but it basically, I
He's
guess.
outside of the States?
Yeah, he's outside
Yeah.
the States.
Pretty much use your VPN that would be in the States and then
Yeah.
go to the CW
Two good
website.
questions.
So if you're able to get a VPN that's from inside the United States, then you should be able to do that and watch
Or
it that
one
way.
good statement, one question.
Okay.
Jeff said the perfect way to introduce her is right after they revive the worlds after Crisis is done.
Yeah.
And Brad says, okay, dumb question here, but I've heard a lot of Kingdom Come Superman, so who exactly is Kingdom Come Superman about? Like, what is he about?
Okay, so Kingdom Come Superman is basically Superman.
And one said, okay, I'll try and do it.
So it's Superman except for the Joker, and they alluded to this in Crisis. The Joker gas bombed the Daily Planet and killed everyone, including Lois.
Did you see it?
Jimmy. No, I was answering.
The lightning.
I was.
The reverse flash lightning.
Oh, I didn't see it.
See?
Oh, okay. So anyways, the Joker killed everyone, taking basically everything away from Superman.
Holy moly,
We're back.
welcome back to
Hold on a
Crisis Aftermath. This show's
Hold that
almost over, man, but fear not. There are still 2 more hours of Crisis on Infinite Earths, starting 8 p.m. on January 14th, and I have no idea what's going to happen, man. So to help us look into the future, here's Legends of Tomorrow showrunner Keto Shimizu.
I agree, Marcel. Well, I agree with the fact that I don't like the fact that he's gone.
The multiverse is gone.
Again, I think Beth's Superman is
The final
relative.
installment of Crisis happens during Legends of Tomorrow. What can you tell us about the Legends' role in this Arrowverse epic?
The captain, Sarah Lance, has a huge role to play in the final hour. It's really when she comes into her own as a leader of all of these amazing heroes to really pull everybody together and, you know, honor everything that's happened both in her life and in this crazy crossover and steer everybody into the final confrontation with the Anti-Monitor. It's really epic and really fun.
That's why I love that she was named the Paragon of Destiny, because even in the last episode where she was talking with Oliver and he was trying to apologize and she had like accepted her destiny so much and she was trying to tell him, no, I wouldn't be this if that hadn't happened.
Yeah.
But she also brings that out in other people. Like she has this band of misfits that I think, you know, people don't necessarily have faith in, and she's like allowed them to accept all their flaws as their destiny.
Let's talk about the Legends for a second. This is the show in the Arrowverse that seems to have grown the most and evolved the most from the original incarnation to now. Like, it was always kind of a fun idea, but you guys started leaning into the fun of a comic book universe in a big bad way about what, season 3, 2?
Like partway through 2 and then 3 really
And then
we just
found it, really found it.
Yeah.
So the shows, they definitely have the more humorous sensibility. How does that blend into Crisis on Infinite Earths?
Honestly, I think the humor that the Legends bring to all the hours is a nice sort of breath of fresh air in a way. Because, you know, it's there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
There's a lot of plot that's being driven.
There's like 86 cast members.
Exactly. There's like so many people, so many heroes, and there's so many intense emotional conversations happening that it helps to have just that sort of
She looks
lightness
like Yardley
peppered
Smith.
in to sort of bring it up and be like, oh yeah, this is also
Who voices,
super crazy fun. And, you know, these characters help bring that out of other
Lisa
people as
Simpson.
well. And
Also,
whether it's-
where can we read Rory's romance novel?
Yeah.
I know,
Is that
right?
Just marketing time.
They need to have that for
There
real.
are enough Bebos in the store, and this book does
Yes.
not exist in the real world.
Both these
They
things
come
are
out
For
with
the
the Bebo
fans,
out
you gotta do it for
before your
fans.
birthday.
This show has a lot of fans, and we have fan questions coming in from the Twitterverse, man. Melly Grace has this question. I am a CW Legends fan, and since Crisis on Infinite Earths is the start of their season, I would like to know what we can expect from the rest of their season,
Yes.
kiddo.
Well, it's actually really interesting. We decided that because our season is coming after this incredible, massive event, that we would actually lean into that in our season and let the fallout from what happens in Crisis really affect our season. It affects it emotionally with Sarah going forward in a big way, but also our mythology is directly tied to fallout from the results of the Crisis.
Mark, before we get out of here, as one of the architects of all this, you got information about what's going to happen in 2020. Give us a little something, man. Something to hold us over the holidays.
I'll say a
help
lot
your
of
team,
your
someone else
big
would have to
questions
step up
get
to take it.
answered. I think there's some really great surprises. Still some wonderful moments, some wonderful cameos still yet to come, and probably one of the biggest, most epic fights that we've ever done in any of the shows. Certainly in any of the crossovers. So you gotta check it out January 14th.
I'm going to be there, man. I want to thank you for building a universe that we all get to enjoy. Some of us get to play in. I played in it from time to time, and I wouldn't have gotten to direct a Flash or a Supergirl had there not been an Arrow, man. So you guys engineered something special that has trickled down, and now it's going to live for all eternity. I have a feeling something big is going to happen to Oliver Queen in a way that we'll carry him with us in our hearts forever and stuff like that. I can't wait to see what happens next year. I don't want to live through these holidays. I just want to go to sleep, wake up. January, what's the date?
January 14th.
14th. That's going to be my Christmas, man. I want to thank my panel, my special guests, and most of all, I want to thank the fans. That's you folks at home, man. This is all for you. As you can hear, a lot of fan service at work here, and there's still lots more to come. Can our Paragon save the multiverse? We're going to find out. We're going to find out all the answers in the final 2 hours of Crisis on Infinite Earths, airing January 14th at 8 p.m. on the CW.
Monday,
Man, I'm
Tuesday, or
Kevin
Sunday,
Smith.
Monday.
Thanks for watching Crisis Aftermath with us, everybody. Good night.
Oh dear Lord, are you serious? Oh my gosh.
It's all one night.
Oh my gosh, that's gonna be rough.
It's Arrow first, and then right after Arrow is Legends.
So to close out our discussion about Kingdom Come Superman, so basically Superman loses everything. He loses everybody and everything that's important to him, and in one fell swoop. And so, unlike Injustice, when the Joker flat out murders Lois and he becomes evil, Superman in
Injustice.
No, I'm talking about that's what Superman does in Injustice. He becomes evil and wants to avenge Lois's death and kill everybody and everything. He's not like that necessarily in Kingdom Come. Basically, it's him older. It's a story from the future where he's older, he's retired, he's given up everything, and now there's this story that pulls him out of retirement, and he's got to get heroes back together again. So he's
Shazam and Spectre, Wonder Woman, and Batman.
Yeah, so he's still Superman at that point, but he's just older and needs help around him, and so that's the Kingdom Come Superman. That's who Brandon Routh is playing. In the idea, not totally comic book correct, but in the idea that the Joker did gas bomb the Daily Planet, he lost everybody, and now he's got to move on and move forward.
Which it showed, if you actually watch that episode and slow it down, like pause it, you can see the different articles that he had on the wall, including when he was in his suit. The one behind him showed the explosion.
He pointed it out before he talked about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he talked about it in there. So if you rewatch the episode,
He said, "I see. Thank you for clarifying that."
yeah. But to finish up with, I don't even know if Caleb is still hanging around, but
There's 25 people.
but yeah, I mean, so because Caleb was talking about Superman, that he doesn't agree with him as a Jesus figure. That's what he is. He's a messianic figure. That's what he was created to be. And Jesus is even if you're not a Christian, Jesus is the closest to a messianic figure you're going to get, and that's what Jesus is. Jesus, like I said, Superman's name being Kal-El loosely translates "sent from God," because the L in the name, the house of El, stands for Elohim. Which is the name of God. And so Jor-El stands for Father God, and so like I said, it's just basically this heavenly Father that sends his Son to Earth, this messianic figure, to save people, to save the Earth. That's why you have the Christ imagery in the mythos, and that's actually one of the things that I love about it. Being a pastor myself, being a Christian myself, I love those things in the mythos because they're all there and they were created that way specifically. But I encourage you, you can pick up that book for about $2 on Amazon.
They've also got Thrift Books has it for $3 or $4.
Yeah.
I'm putting the link in.
Yeah, you can actually find that book, The Gospel According to the World's Greatest Superhero. It's a very interesting read. And actually, Brandon Routh is in it because it came out in 2006, right after Superman Returns. So Brandon Routh was the current Superman at that time. What's that?
Okay.
You'd have to go back in after it's posted and then put that in.
Yeah. So But yeah, Gospel According to the World's Greatest Superhero. You can find it on Amazon. You can do a Google search for it. It's a very interesting read because it explains that. I think too many times we see something.
By Stephen Skelton.
Yeah, by Stephen Skelton. I think sometimes we see something and we don't necessarily understand it, and so you know, if we don't understand something, I'm like that too. If I don't understand something, sometimes I'm like, I don't really care for that. But I think once you read that and understand that was the intention, was that this was a savior. The Superman was meant to be a savior. That's why all the stuff that he does when they first created him in 1938, he's helping everyday people. You know, he's going around, you know, saving people kind of on the street level because he's being a savior that way. And he wasn't obviously, you know, as powered as he is now. He couldn't even fly. He could leap tall buildings in a single bound, and you know, he was faster than a locomotive, but he, you know, still he didn't have all of the powers that he has nowadays. But it's definitely an interesting thing to see where the Man of Steel came from, for sure, and where he's going. And
Caleb just said, sorry, my internet went out for a bit. I'm back now.
Oh, shit. So you
he'll
missed
have to
all
go,
of that.
So he'll have to go back and listen to it.
Yeah.
And then respond on social media.
Yeah, Caleb, I just actually just explained, I talked, because I thought you might still be on, I talked about Superman as a messianic figure, basically a Christ figure, and that would be Jesus to Christians, to Jewish people that would be Moses or Joshua, who led the children of Israel, but he wasn't necessarily created to be a Moses figure. He was made to be a Christ figure. Now, Christ is not necessarily an exclusive Christian term. It's a term used by Jewish people for the Messiah, the Savior. Christ isn't Jesus' last name, obviously. So Jesus being the Messiah that we believe he was as Christians, he was definitely that, and is that Superman is, and I kind of got into it a little bit, but I mentioned a book that you should read, Caleb, called The Gospel According to the World's Greatest Superhero.
By Stephen Skelton.
By Stephen Skelton. You can find it. I think Tiffany's looking to see if it's on our shelf, but you can find
Thrift
it.
books, you can get it for $4.50.
Yeah, you can get it for like $4.
Tops.
Yeah, I mean, you can get it on Amazon, you can get it on eBay. You can find it in a lot of different places, and it's a real quick read. And actually, Brandon Routh is in it because it came out in 2005, 2006, right when Brandon Routh was getting ready to play Superman, and he's in it. He was the latest Superman to be in that book, and it's just a really good book. It's a really good book. Well, Isaac, what did you think of this episode, Wookie? Did you like it? Was it a good episode for you? Isaac, what do you give this episode 1 through 10?
Honestly, same thing William did, 9.8.
9.8? You're going point eights. Going point eights on me.
It's just, the only thing that bugged me with the episode is like you said, is they made it out to be the Paragons, where like all these people they have to look for, but it was just them.
It was them the whole time.
Yeah.
They were in the house the whole time.
Youngins don't
That was
get
the only
that.
problem I had with it. But one thing that I loved is when the Spectre hands it off to Oliver.
Yes.
He says that one line that they say at the beginning of every episode of Arrows is Oliver says, I've become someone else. I've become something else. And that's what he said, like as he introduced himself. He said, I was somebody else. I was something else.
Yeah.
I'm the Spectre.
Yeah, way to call it. Tonight was a good night for us. And calling stuff, because Isaac called Oliver becoming the Spectre, and I called John Wesley Shipp's The Flash being the Flash to sacrifice himself for everyone. So, what do we got here? those are certain things, Caleb. Definitely. Like you missed. So Moses is a messianic figure. So there's a difference between the Messiah and a messianic figure. So Moses is a messianic figure. He's like a foreshadowing of the Messiah, right? Just as Joshua, who actually took the place of Moses and led the people into led Israel into the Promised Land, he was also a messianic figure because he was a savior to the people. So I get what you're saying. I definitely get what you're saying, but it was specific that they wrote Superman as a messianic figure, not just.
Caleb just said I never knew that. I thought Messiah referred specifically to Jesus or the prophecy of the Messiah in Judaism.
Yes, well, see, it does. Okay, so here's the thing: the Jews don't accept Jesus as their Messiah. They don't believe in Jesus as the Messiah, as their Savior. They're still looking actually for their Messiah, expecting the Messiah to come and save them one day. We as Christians, well, people who are Christians, believe that Jesus was that Messiah, that he came, and that he came with a plan of salvation to save mankind. So, but there's foreshadowings. Just like in anything, there's these foreshadowings. So there's these messianic figures, these people who are a foreshadow of who the Messiah will be. And so Moses was that, because Jesus, just like Moses was delivered from Pharaoh with that, Jesus was delivered from the hand of Herod, the king, who was killing all the firstborn Jewish children in Jesus' day. See, so that story of Moses is actually a foretelling of what actually happened to the Messiah, Jesus Christ. Now, Christ is not his last name. Christ is a name for Messiah. He is the Christ, right? I know, right, Juan? It's interesting where we can go sometimes. But this is like my other side kind of coming out. So that's what that was. So Jesus was delivered from Herod because they went in the night and fled, and so yes, so there are definitely going to be some similarities between Moses and Jesus, and those types of things, but that's just what that is. So it's part of the overall story, and it's kind of cool when you see that there's these connection points and these things that go together and are foretellings, and just as Jonah, just as Jonah was in the belly of the whale for 3 days and 3 nights, that was a foreshadowing of Jesus dying and being in the grave for 3 days and 3 nights, right? So there's many things like that are messianic.
I think we found another
things.
video on online video thing. Jeff just said, I would love to sit on a Bible study with you.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
We could definitely do a live stream of, do a Bible study. We could
Absolutely.
do a Bible study with start off with that book.
So it's funny because at our church, we just started a group called Nerds.
An acronym, it stands for.
Yeah, it stands for, because we're part of the Church of the Nazarenes, so it's Nazarenes engaging, reaching, discipling, and serving. And so what we do is we're getting together once or twice a month, and then on top of that, so to study the Bible, and then also and when we do that, we're going to do it in nerdy ways. Like we're going to do like studies, like say if we're going to watch the movie Aquaman, and it's about a reluctant king who doesn't want to take his place in the kingdom, of Atlantis and whatnot, and kind of has to see his place and why he has to. And so then we bring in the biblical study of how we all have a calling. We all have a place in this world. We all have something that God has placed us here to do, and we may be reluctant to do it. So things like that, right?
Jeff just said yes, please.
Yep. And so there's that, and then in our group we're doing a service, a public service project where we're going to go into schools and help teach kids computers, and also to teach seniors computers, because we've got a computer engineer in the group, and he's going to help us do that. And so that's just us helping out the community, right?
And then we get to do fun stuff like go to Comic-Con together.
Yeah, and then we're going to go to Comic-Con together. And this Saturday, actually, we're having our first event with our nerd group, because we are watching episodes 4 through 8 of Star Wars. We're starting at 8 a.m. Now,
And we're going to have Star Wars themed foods. Last time we did this, I made R2-D2 cookies and had blue milk. We had Death Star meatballs.
Yep.
I made pretzel rods with different colors to look like lightsabers.
the only reason I haven't so far announced that we may live stream today is just because I'd have to figure out like how to set up the camera, because I don't know that everybody in the group is necessarily going to want to possibly be, you know, on YouTube. So
If they're done with it, yes.
but if they're done with that, we will be starting at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and watching episodes 4
all day long.
all day long. I mean, we're going to be going all day long until about 7 o'clock at night. So, but yeah, Jeff, we can actually talk about that sometime. That'd be a lot of
And
fun.
Caleb just said, I'm not well versed in religious stuff. I only recently became a Christian.
Yep.
I just always considered it kind of blasphemous to compare Superman to Jesus. As pure as Superman is, it doesn't compare to the pureness of Jesus, is all Caleb said.
Oh yeah, well yeah, Caleb, I agree. You know, I think that
He likes the similarities in the tie-ins of, you know, when you do have parts of the movie where he's like, look at them, you can save them, you can save all of them. It's just a tiny little tie-ins.
I don't see it as blasphemous, because I think that it's people who have created things that resemble Christ. And I think if we look in our world, we're going to see those things, right, that resemble Christ in our world. I mean, we're not saying that he is Jesus. You know, obviously Superman is a fictional character, and is
Jeff said a really good idea.
and is you know, I mean, if somebody obviously was, you know, trying to say that, you know, this or that was Jesus, or try to put something ahead of God or something like that, then, you know, then that I would say it probably is unhealthy.
Jeff said that's why we don't compare. These superheroes were written not based on the story and the actual people in the Bible, but they were inspired by the general idea of it. And Ian Crouch said, y'all would be so much fun to hang out with, for real, with exclamation points.
Thank you. Well, hey, you know what? We're glad that, you know what, even if we all can't get together because of our various places all over the world, that at least we can hang out this way and have these kind of conversations. I love that. I dig that. That's, you know.
You could be like Darth Tasty and put us up on the TV and feel like we're in your room.
There you go. We just have these conversations. We just sit back and chill and have conversations for sure. And I try to be a little well-rounded. Like, if you can't tell, like
Brandon said, when does the episode air, guys? I'm from Europe.
So the episode already aired. It actually came on a little over 2 hours ago. We watched it, and it was done. The only reason we're still on is because we watched Kevin Smith had an aftermath show on tonight, and so we watched that, and I guess I will just tell you it was good. It was good. It was good. There were a couple of things that I had an issue.
You sound like, what's his name? It's good.
It's good. It's good. Bruce Almighty.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a couple things that I had issues with. I know he gave it a 9.8. I know William gave it a 9.8. Tiffany, what do you give this episode 1 through 10?
9.5 out of 10.
9.5. What was that 0.5 that kept you from giving it a perfect score?
As much as this is where in the Poindexter Lounge we can have differences of opinion even within the same family or in married people, the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
My issues were with Lex, but not to the extent of you hating Lex. I've continued watching Supergirl. I don't love him. I don't even necessarily like him.
You don't despise him.
But I don't despise him like you do. And so there's where, but I do not like, I knew he was going to be killing some Superman because of the way that this happened.
Yeah.
I just wish that Brandon Routh doing what he did, it's like you had this great send-off for John Wesley Shipp. You could have had a better send-off for Brandon Routh because he did such a phenomenal job as Kingdom Come Superman.
My hope is that he's not done.
That's what I'm hoping too, that he can have a great send-off because knowing that he will be eventually leaving Legends, it would be nice to have, you know, this great send-off for Kingdom Come Superman and a great send-off for Adam. That would be nice eventually, especially now hearing an aftermath from the writer of Legends, knowing that they're going to kind of take the crisis and the aftermath of this and kind of make that set up their season. So it makes me wonder what's all going to happen in Crisis that's going to affect their season, especially now knowing what she says with Sarah Lance. So my 0.5 deals with Lex. And just knowing that, seeing this, and it's like he gets the final word, and now, okay, let's take a break now till the 14th. So to me, it was like, okay. But yet, the same episode made me tear up because I loved what they did with John Wesley Shipp.
Yeah.
And how he's like, you know what, to have him being like, sorry, kid, you know, you've been here long enough, you learned some neat tricks, and like to have, I mean, because we know from meeting John Wesley Shipp from these interviews, him and Grant just have a rapport and have an awesome relationship. So those emotions were real, and so that was very awesome to kind of have that end like that. So it's like you had like the Lex stuff, and then you had like these awesome tearing up moments, and so they left it on a great cliffhanger. It's gonna make me wonder now for the next stinking month and a half. What's going on, but that's what made it 9.5 out of me.
So, for me, I will say this. The writing was obviously better than the first two nights because it was the Flash team.
Exactly, Tom.
You could tell what team wrote the script and the dialogue.
Jeff said 0.5 because of that wimpy Lex.
Right? So there was definitely a difference in the dialogue between the characters.
Dialogue and also the tone for me.
Yeah, the dialogue.
Caleb says, when are y'all doing the Star Wars marathon? I missed it when you said it.
We're definitely doing it on Saturday morning, starting at 8 a.m. Episodes 4 through 8. I haven't decided yet if we're going to stream it. We may, and I will definitely let you all know if we are going to. Obviously, there will be Mandalorian Friday night, and so we will let you know by then if we're going to do it.
I think we should reach out to our group and see who's comfortable with it. If they're all down, then we'll just put it in the corner. Maybe they can even go on YouTube and respond throughout the day.
Yeah.
And make some new friends through them too.
I just don't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable who comes into the house and, you know, there's a camera set up, you know, that's kind of, you know, different. It's different when it's us, but, you know, when we invite people into the house, we want to be mindful of that. But anyway, so back to the episode. The Flash stuff was good. John Wesley Shipp stuff was great. Great send-off for him. Great way to bring an end to his character.
You could see Barry tearing up like he was ready to make that sacrifice.
Yeah, I mean, all that was great. Great dialogue between everybody. We got the Lucifer cameo. We got all that stuff. Here's the thing.
Spectre.
Here's the thing. I'm fine with the whole episode. Unless...
But Lex, though.
But if that is how they do the send-off for Brandon Routh, or basically, essentially, Christopher Reeve's Superman, with Lex Luthor killing him, like that, in a punk kind of way.
Well, to not, because you could see he was making it off as the anti-monitor was taking out Earth 1. He goes, I can't believe that worked, so maybe seeing that was all coming, he tried to, like, and that was the only way to do it for him.
Yeah. But it was such a punk way for
Tom says it was the best episode of the crossover. Lex just sucks.
Yeah, and so that's why I don't even know how much to take off for the stupid Lex thing, because I have a feeling that it's not going to stick.
We still have 2 hours left.
Caleb,
we got 2
put
hours.
Part 3 at 8 out of 10.
We got.
Caleb says, I definitely give the crossover so far 8 out of 10. Part 1 is 7 out of 10. Part 2 is 9 out of 10. And Part 3 is 8 out of 10 for him. That's how he kind of made his.
So I gave Part 1 a. What did I give it? Did I give it a 6 or did I give it a 5.5?
You gave it a 5 something because you were unhappy with the first one.
Yeah, the first one I thought was really just.
You gave
weak.
it a 5.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I thought the first episode was just really weak, and I still think it was weak. Even getting to see Clark, I just
But Clark got to punch him in the face.
Yeah. So the second episode was
Your favorite because you gave that a 9 out of 10 because of the fight scene, the flying scenes with Hecklin and him fighting each other. And
that was a great episode for me. This episode I don't feel had as much energy as the second episode, but it was better writing. It's like a balance act, right? Like it was better in a lot of ways, but there were some things that was lacking. And the other were like there was that excitement in the second episode that in Part 2 that wasn't in Part 3. But there were emotional moments in Part 3 that weren't in Part 2.
They all kind of interwove, yeah.
So I feel like I need to knock a couple of numbers off for the stuff that I just really didn't like, because the stuff that I really didn't like, I just really didn't like.
Which made you more like Conroy's Batman for those things.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give tonight's episode an 8.
That's what Caleb gave it.
Because of that. So I got 5.5, and then I gave it a
9.10.
9.
9 out of 10.
9 and now an 8.
So, hold these thoughts for Juan for a second. Juan said, I disagree, they make it too emotional, my thoughts. But that's what I love about Flash.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, please explain, I don't understand, what did Lex do?
So basically, Lex stole a page out of the Book of Destiny. He stole the page that had all the symbols for all of the 7 paragons. And I don't understand how that, and even he doesn't understand how this works, that he was able to write his own name on the page and basically essentially become a paragon instead of Superman, Brandon Routh's Superman.
He was standing there and like red light started emanating from him, and all of a sudden he disappeared and Lex appeared in his place. And he said, oh, wow, I couldn't believe that worked.
Yeah, but did he, so he didn't turn into Superman, he just
it's like he used him as a vessel or something.
Well, that didn't even seem like it was either. It seemed like Superman just ceased to exist.
What I'm thinking is maybe they like switched places, because if you notice that the antimatter is red.
Yeah.
And the light that was coming out of him
was
red.
Also red.
Yeah.
Okay. Because at first I thought like the antimatter was gonna like flow out of Superman, and pretty much that was me. The cliffhanger is like, wait, what does that mean with the antimatter?
Mm-hmm.
Because as he was doing that, he looked over at Kara and he said, fix this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking maybe more if they switched places.
Yeah.
Now, Caleb said, and I kind of agree with him just because of watching the whole season of Supergirl. Caleb said, I don't hate this Lex, I just think they bit off more than they can chew with his character. In Supergirl, he was fine and fit the story they were telling, but he doesn't work in other shows. And Ian Crouch said, Cryer as Lex is just not something I can wrap my brain around. I never have been able to. I like him, just not in this role. And Gavin said, hi from UK.
What's up, Gavin?
We don't get Crisis here till late next year.
Oh man!
If you don't try and look online.
Oh, that's.
Juan says,
I'm so
Lex,
sorry.
you are a son of a gun.
I am so sorry, Gavin.
And Ian even just said, oh, ouch! I'm so sorry to hear that. Why are they making you in the UK wait so long?
That's harsh. That's harsh.
They should not enter that into the chili cook-off because that's weak sauce. Sorry.
And I had to laugh about that.
I'm tired too.
Yep. That's funny.
Mom jokes.
Yes. Wow. Oh, I'm so sorry, Gavin. That's Oh well. Hopefully the anti-monitor doesn't show up in the next year.
Yeah, really.
Right.
Okay, so you gave it an 8 out of 10.
Yep, so I gave it an 8 out of 10. So, I mean, we're still cruising right along. And now we've got almost a month. Well, we've got about a month to wait.
Because today's the 10th and it comes back on the 14th.
We got to wait another month for the last 2 episodes, but we get them both in one day.
With both Halloween and New Year's coming up, I think like by the time that, like with Star Wars next week and then Christmas the following week and then New Year's, is I think that this month is just going to fly by.
Gavin said
Which
UK
makes
just
this
finished
episode.
Flash season 5.
Wow.
So we're living in the future.
So it means that they just finished 7 of Arrow, 4 of Legends.
And not only do we have Star Wars next week, but guess what's tomorrow?
Logan's birthday.
Yep, tomorrow's Logan's birthday. But guess what else is tomorrow? The release, finally, of Lies by Mark Uno. You've been following the channel and you know who Mike Zero is. You know that
Logan
Mike.
the Hutt's birthday gift.
Yeah, you know, yeah, he's not getting any toys or gifts or anything. I made the song for him. Although I tell you what, it would show my love because I've put a lot of time and effort into this
We haven't
thing.
seen him for a couple days.
Oh, it's been more than a couple days.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying we haven't physically seen him for a
Yeah,
couple days.
I had to write the thing. I had to
So I hope you guys like it. Okay.
write the music, play the music, write the lyrics.
You're making fun of him
Obviously.
for falling asleep during this episode,
I didn't
but
go to
it's
sleep.
because he didn't sleep.
Last night. 'cause
I get up
finished
for work
editing
at
the video.
I get up for work at 6 in the morning, and I come down, and he's sitting down at his computer with his headphones on, editing for you guys.
Yep. So I was still I
You're
shot
welcome.
the entire music video myself.
Juan says, "Let the dog sleep." LOL.
I shot the whole music video myself, edited the music video myself, and so it should be up and loaded
Ian said,
tomorrow.
"Yes, finally, I love those, and the song should be epic."
Yes. So, well, you know what's funny? It's like you've been working on something a long time when you're just ready to go back to making the simple Mark Uno like episodes. Like, holy cow, this thing is taking a long time. But I just can't wait to drop this because I just can't wait to drop this on like every Mike Zero video from here on in. Like seriously, every Mike Zero
But you
Zero
do
video.
realize that as good as this is, they're going to be wanting you to do more of this. It's that good.
Well, you can go to patreon.com /Poindexter Lounge. For the right price, I'll continue to. I don't know. But it was a lot of fun. It was a blast. And I think the song turned out good. You know, the whole family seems to like the song, and those who have listened to it on the Patreon,
Because it's an earbug. It gets stuck in your head, and you can't stop singing it.
they seem to really like it. So I'm excited about it, guys. I really am. So, and I hope you guys all enjoy it. I really do. I hope you all enjoy it, and you share it, and you tell other people about it, and when it comes out on iTunes, that you buy it, and all that good stuff.
Darth Tasty just said the song is awesome.
So, hey guys, don't forget to send me your information so that I have so I can send out these gifts to you from our Crisis parties. That was fun. It's fun. Hope you guys enjoy. I'm glad, Darth Tasty, that you need that, and of course,
Darth Tasty said definitely fell asleep midstream.
yeah.
It's good. It's good.
All I see is a tongue coming from between your hands there, between your fingers. There he is.
No. You can tell he's my son. He was quoting Christmas Vacation.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. All right, guys. Well, hey, thanks for joining us. That's the first little over half of Crisis. It's an interesting crossover so far. We've seen a lot of worlds. We've seen a lot of worlds die. Although we saw all of them die. They're all dead.
Because they're outside of space and time right now.
Yep, they're all dead. And that's how it ends. And everybody died. Except for me. That's a Weird Al song. Alright guys. Well hey, thanks for joining us for Crisis. You guys are awesome. You're the best YouTube watchers and subscribers
You can't word right now.
on the planet. No, I'm tired. You're the best community ever. I love you guys. You guys are great. You guys inspire us, and you encourage us to keep going, keep doing what we do, and I'm hoping for just another great year coming up. Right?
Thank you.
We're not done. Don't worry. We got more stuff to do before the end of the year. So we got lots more videos, lots more fun stuff to cover and talk about. And obviously we're gonna have all kinds of Rise of Skywalker coverage and stuff. So we're not packing it up yet. We gotta go see Jumanji.
I forgot that was out.
Okay.
Yeah, I totally forgot Jumanji came out right now. For some reason I was thinking Jumanji came out.
You liked the
like-
last one.
The trailers.
I liked the last one. It was alright. It wasn't my favorite movie, but
I don't even remember like the trailers, like seeing like much advertisement for it until it came out. Like I only remember like one trailer before it came out, and that was.
oh yeah. Yeah, I remember the trailer for it because they were like switched and stuff like that. But
Because they're
No,
older
I
people inside
actually
their
did
bodies.
remember the trailer.
yeah,
Cause I remember I saw the ad and I was like, they made Jumanji too. I was like, I thought they came out later. No, I
Yeah.
saw the ad for it.
all right, guys. Well, hey, until next time. My name is Enosh, aka Enosh Fett, along with Lovely,
Tip-tastic.
and of course,
Isaac One Kenobi.
saying we gotta wait another month, but it'll be worth it. Will our heroes come back? Will they revive all of the infinite Earths? Stay tuned until next time. Same bat time,
Same bat channel.
same nerd channel. All right. Say goodnight, Tiff.
Good night, Tiff.